Ooh. Ooh. I don't mind. I actually
A
don't
young
mind that
Wolfman Jack.
I don't mind. I don't mind that comparison at all. Of the things you have called me this week, that's not the worst.
If you're up, you're listening, and you get that reference, you're old.
If you're up and moving and get that reference, make sure you have your colonoscopy scheduled sometime in the very near future.
It's very important.
It is very important. Preventative measures, people. Preventative measures. When you get to our age, preventative measures are the most important thing you can have going for you. Preventative measures, people. A pound of prevention. What's the old saying? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We are just trying to help. All right. Make sure you call the doc. Make sure you're all set up. You're all ready to go. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's spectacular to have you here on the show with us today. Hope that you're just living your absolute best life. Hope that your day went well yesterday. Hope your day is setting up well for today. You know who the day is setting up for very well is Michael Penix Jr. Stay with me. We're not going to fight yet. We're not going to fight yet.
Oh, no, I'm done. I'm done. Well, we're close to vacation. I'm just going to say yes to just about everything you say. Yeah, whatever, dude.
Well, that's a bummer. That's
maybe throw in a few bros.
Bro. I got to say this. Lonzo, there were questions about Michael Penix Jr. Is he the right guy to step in for Kirk Cousins? It turns out not only is the answer yes, the answer is hell yes.
I was actually shopping. I was shopping with my girlfriend. We was at Costco. I was actually getting a hot dog, and whenever I got the call, I wasn't hungry no more. So
that's it. Michael Penix Jr. is a Costco bro too. The Falcons just lining up the Costco bros at QB1 back to back. Holler at your boy Michael Penix Jr. Also a Costco dog guy.
Not trying to be derogatory or negative or anything, because I would never want to be such a thing. I saw something on the internet yesterday, so it must be true.
Sure.
That they found human DNA in hot dogs. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
which hot dogs? All the hot dogs? Some of the hot dogs? A few of the hot dogs? Costco hot dogs?
I just saw it and was like, I was appalled that they're serving human DNA to poor people.
Okay.
I mean,
According to trutherfiction.com.
Wait, is that an actual site? I don't know. Just because you call yourself that, I'm not being. I mean, just because you call, we are Truth or Fiction. All right. Have you been properly vetted? How would you vet such a thing? All right, go ahead.
In 2015, Clear Labs, an independent food analytics company, found human DNA in 2% of 345 hot dogs and sausage samples from 75 brands. Here's my favorite line, Lonzo. The DNA was mostly found in vegetarian hot dogs.
Okay.
That's my favorite line I've ever read of it. I'm a big science dork. I admit it. I acknowledge it. I read academic science papers for funsies because I am a loser and I don't care. Judge me as you wish. I like learning and knowing new things. I have read a gazillion scientific academic papers throughout my lifetime. Sometimes I read them just to be a jackass to my friends. Okay, because they got this weird belief and they stand on that business. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go kick the legs under that just because I find it funny and I'm a bad person. So I go read academic papers for fun just so I can bleep on my friends' hopes and dreams.
Come on, Rob. There are no bad people at Christmas. It's Christmas.
Oh, no. There's bad people all the time. And I'm sometimes one of them. If you have a belief that I find dumb, there are very few things in my life that I'm less committed to this job than I am. Sometimes people having a bad belief, finding a way to go kick the legs out from under that and making them re-examine and reevaluate their entire belief system about life in general. It's one of my favorite things to do because, again, I'm a bad person. And so I read academics papers all the time. It's fun. It's engaging. It's entertaining for me. Y'all, I have read 10,000 academic papers in my life, and no sentence from any one of them has ever made me as happy as, quote, the DNA was mostly found in vegetarian hot dogs. They also found in the exact same study that there was meat in 10% of vegetarian hot dogs, and other ingredients like chicken, lamb, turkey, and beef were in samples that did not have those ingredients listed on the packaging. Now,
is it possible that the human DNA was actually the meat?
No.
Okay.
According to Clear Foods, the DNA likely came from contamination, including hair, skin, fingernail, or saliva that was accidentally mixed in during the manufacturing process. Men's Health Journal said that after reading the report, they believe the amount of human DNA in hot dogs is, and I quote, probably not enough to worry about, end quote.
Probably not.
However, they do say that the amount of human DNA found in hot dogs is comparable to the amount of DNA found in fruits and vegetables and most open-sourced food from shopping or grocery stores. In fact, they found that a comparable amount of DNA was found in, quote, any food that was touched by human hands during production, end quote. So, long story short, while it's fun to throw that on hot dogs, especially when me and Mike Penix Jr.
I was actually shopping. I was shopping with my girlfriend. We was at Costco. I was actually getting a hot dog, and whenever I got the call, I wasn't hungry no more. So.
It's fun to throw that at guys, cost bros like me and Mike Penix Jr. But the reality here is, if you eat any food that was in any way, shape, or form interacted with by human beings directly during the production process, you have also eaten roughly 2% human DNA. Congratulations.
Enjoy that when you go get your next Costco hot dog.
When you go get
it's
your
not
next
just Costco, it's just hot dogs, period.
It's just anything.
Listen.
It's just any food.
When anything, that they compress and combine a bunch of stuff into making a fake food like hot dogs, you go get some stuff in there.
You are literally ignoring every other detail of the exact same paper that you're citing for this hilarious Costco hot dog joke. It says it found comparable trace amounts of human DNA in every food that involved human interaction during production.
All right. But your specific search was about hot dogs.
No,
so,
for sure it was.
Yeah, and so enjoy that vegan hot dog, first of all. Second of all, next time you go to eat a hot dog, it's going to be back in your mind somewhere.
Lonzo,
you're going to be thinking about and you discovered it thanks to your scientific research. Has your scientific research ever made you go, man, why did I look that up? Has it ever done that to you? Okay, all right.
Times. You ever heard of prions?
No.
Look up prions if you want to have an absolute existential crisis. Look up prions, Prions.
It sounds crusty.
They are, no, they're not. They are, it's when proteins inside of your brain get folded over the wrong way. And they basically cause your brain to not shut down. You're still cognizant and aware, but you can't do anything. You basically become locked in a shell. Right, your body effectively locks itself. It's like having a computer that gets a virus, and you can turn it on and you can see everything.
It's like sleep paralysis when you wake up and you can't move.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever had that before,
except it's permanent. Except that's just your life now. You just live that way now, right? Right. It's terrifying because it's genetic. But there is no way to predict it, prevent it, or cure it. So if you get hit with a prion, you're screwed. You're
going down a road that was not necessary.
You asked me, I answered.
We're having a little fun, just joking around. You're eating human when you eat hot dogs, which has been scientifically proven now.
Okay, I'll go back to the fun part then.
Okay.
What are you having for your little in-show snack here in just a few minutes? What's your little in-show snack that you stand over there in the corner and you pop open every day at the same time?
By the way, radio rule. Also a rule in life: if someone says little something, they're downgrading it. They're belittling.
Oh no! Yeah. I have a point to this. What's your little snack you're gonna have over there during the break?
It's not a snack.
What are you gonna eat in roughly 1 hour and 20 minutes? What are you going to eat?
Okay, because I'm glad you got specific there. That would be. I'm not going to name the brand.
You don't have to.
Okay, because I'm not going to do
have?
that. Because I tried to get a sponsorship by tagging them the other day and it didn't work. So I'm going to have a sandwich.
A sandwich. And are sandwiches put together by sterilized robots in a factory? No, They're put together by a person.
With those plastic gloves.
It
and everyone
doesn't
knows
matter.
that plastic gloves, they protect you from everything.
You are going to pop down in
Just like
just
hair
about
nets.
an hour and a half.
Hair nets protect you from everything.
You're literally helping my point here. You in an hour and a half are going to pop down a nice little 6-inch sub sandwich.
Dude,
all right?
Dude,
from a
we're all
nondescript place of
cannibals.
choice.
I'm not saying it bothers me that there's human DNA. I think it bothers you. That's why I brought it up.
Oh, it doesn't bother me at all. Listen,
Okay.
here's
I
the
just
fun
want
thing.
to put it in your head. It's like an earwig to a degree.
Dude,
I just want you thinking about
anybody, Lonzo.
I am eating a soylent green hot dog right now.
Anybody who takes a hot dog knowing that it is all the extra remaining bits and pieces and they mash it together into a paste and then they
You
put
mean
it in a tube.
Like testicles and brains and stuff?
No, like the extra sinew and muscle and bone and leftover meat that gets cut off, et cetera, et cetera.
Like testicles and
When
ears
they
and brains and stuff.
When they take all that's
And
none of that is
snout.
meat. When they take all of that and they mash it in a paste and they put that paste inside of a tube and then they put that tube of meat paste on a bun and then you cover it in ketchup and mayo and relish and whatever else you put on top of your dog, no one has ever thought to themselves, by golly, gee willikers, I hope there's not extra contamination in here. The whole food is contamination.
I don't think anyone since like 1924 has thought, by golly gee willikers. But I could be wrong. It could be wrong. I don't know.
That was the point. That was the joke. No one
Back then,
that goes out of their
hot
way.
dogs didn't have human DNA in it.
No one that goes out of their way to consume a hot dog. Costco, of which I am a black card carrying member or otherwise, and part of the selling point for me was the $1.50 hot dogs. No one that goes out of their way for a Costco dog or a Ballpark Frank or a Nathan's or any other hot dog, gas station or otherwise, nobody has ever been concerned about, I wonder what extra bits are in the hot dog. It's all extra bits. It is just made of extra bits.
Taking advantage of poor people because they don't think about these things. And poor people eat hot dogs.
Poor people eat everything. Again,
No, they don't eat that much at all. That's the point.
Not knocking the locale from which you have acquired your snack later on in the show, but it ain't exactly the most high quality sandwich in the game, right? Why does that particular shop exist?
That was so close.
I know, it was real close.
That was so close.
Why does that particular place exist? Because I'm not going to go spend $12 on a Cuban every day, although I can get way better sandwiches in a lot of places. They're going to cost more.
Dude, I've ate souse and haggis before. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about everybody else, okay? There's a lot of, not everybody. There's some people, they could care less. I mean, it looks like meat. Yeah, I'm eating. But there are people who think about these things, and those are the people that I want to.
Oh, you're ruining days right now, for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You're absolutely
Merry
ruining
Christmas.
days right now. All right, we got a lot we got to get to on the radio program today. Obviously, on Thursdays, it gets very busy on the radio broadcast at 8 a.m. The wonderful Lulu Kesson from the Greenville News will be joining us. We will continue talking South Carolina football. We will also take a gander at the women's basketball team because they have got themselves a little showdown. By the way, I got a Twitter DM a couple of days ago. You know who's going to be in our hood and who's going to come on the show? For a little reunion of sorts? How about Emily Adams, formerly of the Greenville News? She is now up in lovely Connecticut covering the UConn basketball team while the Huskies and the Gamecocks are getting together for a little showdown on the hardwood betwixt the lady squads. Emily Adams wrote me. She's like, hey, I'm going to be down there. I'd love to come on the show if you'll have me. Done and done.
You mean like in person?
No, she's going to probably, she's going to be like, she's flying in, going to the game, flying out.
Oh,
but
okay.
she said she'll be in the morning of the game.
Okay. Cause I might have to wear something other than sweatpants. That's just curious. Yeah. I might dress up for that.
Lonzo,
what?
You don't put on anything other than sweatpants when you know the boss is coming in.
All right. I do when we go win awards.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's only because you get to wear in costume.
Oh no, I've just dressed up there to like that first year when we didn't realize that there actually was a theme. We both dressed up. I wore a vest. I rocked it, even though people like you criticize vests. I looked really good in it.
Yeah, fat guys don't do good in vests.
Yeah, well, wasn't fat then. So, I mean,
There you go.
And there's also that.
Emily Adams going to join us a little bit later on as we get closer to that game. Lulu Kesson will join us at 8 a.m. She'll catch us up on where the Lady Gamecock basketball program is, and we'll do a little bit more postmortem on the 2024 Gamecock football season as well. At 8:40 a.m., Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast will pop by. We'll talk about the rebound from a very disappointing loss against the Dallas Cowboys at home this past weekend. And we'll get you set up for the Cats game this weekend at 9 o'clock. Hating ass Mario Herron from the BetQL Network will pop on the stream with us. He'll give us some of the thoughts that he has had over the last couple of weeks about the National Football League. Perhaps we'll get some thoughts from him on the college football playoffs as well. And then at 9:20, ladies and gentlemen, it is the final Fight Club of 2024. The final Fight Club of 2024. And Lonzo said, we're handing out some Zoes today. All right. We are going to hand out some trophies in different wrestling categories.
I'm still not sold on the name. I don't know why you get to name the award. When I came up with it, shouldn't I get to name it? I mean,
no, you came up with it, so it's named after you. The 2024 Zoe Awards, our awards for excellence in professional wrestling. I won't give you all the categories that we're going to be handing out winners for. I will give you one. The best Rob Brown show rub. And if you're not a wrestling fan, that's a really weird sentence for me to say. If you're not a wrestling fan, you're like, what in the HE double hockey sticks is this guy talking about? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to come back at 9:20 to find out. Does that mean something graphic that Rob's going to charge $9.99 a minute for? Or is that a wrestling thing that actually makes sense? Find out at 9:24. Fight! I can't do it. Can you do it? Can you do that for me just this one time?
Fight Club. There you go.
I like it.
I couldn't put too much into it because I got to sing this week.
Yeah, I started to lean into it, and I got to the G in Fight Club, and it fell apart on me.
That hurt me a little bit. So
fell apart on me. Fight Club at 9:20, and then who knows what we're gonna get? I mean, I know what we're gonna get into, but you don't. So I'm gonna say as a tease, who knows what we're gonna get into this morning on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
We're friends.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're coming right back. Good morning, Mike, and everybody else. Stay right there. right, we're back. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. Happy Thursday, dudes and dudettes. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, and you be a part of the show. The phone line is open for you right now. The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone, 844-FAN-FONE, 844-326-3663. You may text us at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the show. You can tweet me at The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word. You can tweet everybody here at The Fan Upstate. And don't forget about the Ray Memorial Hotline. It has been a little bit quiet this week on the Ray Memorial Hotline. I need that fixed immediately, like rapidly.
Hey, people are concerned because Christmas is fastly approaching and they ain't ready yet.
What's that got to do with getting on the Ray Memorial Hotline?
Because they're busy.
Can I tell you the truth? I forgot what that feature is called, and since I got the new computer, I got locked out of it. Not locked out of it. It's not saved in my stuff
so
anymore.
You can't get into the ROC where it is.
Correct, because I forgot what the destination is, and it used to be just saved in my search. Like I just pop it in, and so I can't get to the Ray Memorial Hotline.
Well,
yet.
I could email you.
I need you to do that, please. And
okay.
Thank you.
All right, because I'm in there right now, so I mean, I have to do that in order to post our chapters.
Gotta get that. Hey, here's a text. Texter said, Lonzo, you could grind up the person in my hot dog in front of me. And if I want a hot dog, I'm eating that hot dog. Dog commitment, baby. I respect it.
No,
I like a dog.
That's cannibalism commitment. I mean, that's fine. I mean, okay.
Love a hot dog.
Okay. Hopefully you're not looking at other people and going, that'd make a good hot dog.
Do love a hot dog. Do love a hot dog. Hot dog. Hot dog. Texture says, why is Lonzo making fun of poor people? So annoying.
I'm not. I'm speaking from experience as a former poor and not much better than that now. I know what it was like and what a delicacy, what a wonderful thing it was to actually get a hot dog. So yeah, and they're geared towards. I mean, it's the prime audience. It's who they're trying to sell it to. That's why they make them so cheap. To the poor people. Rob doesn't get it because he's a 1%er.
Always have been.
Or maybe he thinks when he eats a hot dog, he's slumming it.
Or yet, there's a third option, which is I just really like hot dogs.
Okay.
And that part is it's true.
But it's people.
There's a group of about 4 of us, friends of mine from various parts of the country, that have a Facebook Messenger group thread, and our title is Hot Dog Enthusiast because.
By the way, you can get to the thing that you want to through Odyssey at work. There's a tab.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so go there. It'd be easier.
Because what I expect is I'm going to go open it up and there's going to be like 50 Ray Memorial Hotline messages. Go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY, go to the Fan Upstate page, click on the button that says leave a voice message, and then do that 30 to 60 seconds, anything you want. And by the way, while we are all off.
Just checking. We don't have any from, no, actually we do. There's a couple from yesterday.
Good.
1, 2.
I'll get to those later on in the show.
Yeah.
Go to the Fan Upstate page on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Click on the leave a voice message button, 30 to 60 seconds. We'll play them later on in the radio broadcast. And I do want to remind you that Lonzo and I are here today. Lonzo and I are here tomorrow. Lonzo and I are here on Monday. Then we are not here for the rest of next week. We will be off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We will return the following week. I will return the following week, Monday and Tuesday. We will be off on New Year's Day because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Robbie B is going to be probably nursing a bit of a headache that day. And then we will come back to work on Thursday. Be there Thursday, Friday, and then we'll be with you back to a regular schedule after that. moving forward. So there's your programming notes. There's what you there's where we are, what you need to know, etc., etc., etc. So I you know what? I got a thing I want to
doing
get
my
to.
chapter now. Hot dogs is people.
Dogs is people.
Yeah, that's the name of my chapter.
I want to get to this, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about it later on in the show. But I got a press release yesterday, very interesting press release from South Carolina. The press release headline is Netflix announces new sports series following college football's preeminent powerhouse, the SEC. And it's a bunch of bullet points about what Netflix is putting together, a season-long series that follows, quote, college football's most dominant conference, the Southeastern Conference, during the 2024 season, end quote. Synopsis. The series places viewers inside of some of college football's most storied programs in the SEC through unfiltered access to their coaches and players on and off the field, on the buses and the locker rooms, at the barbershops, around the fire pits, running out of the tunnels, and more. We take an exclusive look at key matchups throughout the SEC season to show the passion and drama of college football's leading conference. According to the press release, South Carolina football will be highlighted during the series. The Netflix sports series follows the entire 2024 college football season and will premiere next summer in 2025. It is being made by the same production company, Box to Box Films, that made Sprint, Full Swing, Formula One Drive to Survive, and Breakpoint. These have all been very successful documentaries on the Netflix platform. As a matter of fact, there was a noticeable uptick in popularity in F1 due to the Drive to Survive series that was on Netflix. I've actually got a bunch of people in my life, including my little brother, who have become big F1 guys because of that series. So there's some weight, there's some juice behind this. The series is set to be 8 45-minute episodes, and the Gamecocks, as we mentioned a minute ago, are very much a big part of this. By the way, Netflix is kind of killing the game right now. Netflix is kind of killing the game. I mean, the production value of live events, we've only had really one big time experience, the fight.
And whether you like it or not, it was put together fairly well.
It was put together well. It's just that it kept buffering every 8 minutes.
And they need to work on mic levels. But, that's just me being picky.
I don't disagree, but also that's kind of a big deal as far as live sports. Now, that being said, this isn't a live sport.
Find out on Christmas.
This is not a live event, obviously, as it covers this past football season. But, obviously in a spot where it's being made by a production company that has many very popular sports documentaries that have come out over the past 3 or 4 years. I got to tell you, great one, I don't think I've been this excited about a sports documentary franchise probably since The Last Dance, which was 15 years ago, back in 2020. 15 years ago, back in 2020. When The Last Dance dropped, and in fairness, I do, context matters in every conversation. Obviously, when The Last Dance dropped, it was always going to gain some weight because we were all locked in our rooms during the COVID lockdowns. So it kind of was like, here's what you have to do. You can play video games or you can watch stories about the 1990s Bulls. It's your pick. And the answer for me was, the Bulls.
Or you have time to do both. I mean, there was a lot of time.
We had time to do both multiple times.
Yes.
But The Last Dance, I was actually really excited about. I was pretty jacked up about The Last Dance. And while I do think that, The Last Dance should have been, for many of us, a lesson in skepticism regarding documentaries.
How drunk Michael Jordan was while filming the thing, because his eyes were so red.
No, I think he has a thing. I think he has a thing.
He was drinking vodka.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, because he has a vodka that he was selling, remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
But again, I don't think, now, the thing that I think Mike has.
It could have been water. I don't know.
The thing Mike has, I think, is probably connected to that. And I stand on my theory that the flu game wasn't a flu game. The flu game was a hangover game. And as somebody who has had to fight through multiple hangovers, for the record, I respect the struggle. I want you all to know. I view the hangover game with the same amount of respect and admiration as you all have viewed the flu game for years. I've been hungover and had to show up and go to work and fight through it, slap the side and play like a champion today. I understand the struggle. I really do. But I think it was a hangover game. Either way, the point here is I was actually really excited about The Last Dance. And I do think, again, I think The Last Dance was a healthy lesson in skepticism about documentaries, because while there are many documentaries that are made genuinely to inform and enlighten, the overwhelming amount of documentaries are made to make a point, right? To push an agenda. And that's not to say documentaries are bad. It's just important that when you watch a documentary, you view it with the skeptical mind, and you view it with the lens of, some of this might be twisted one way or the other to make me feel a certain kind of way. But it doesn't mean you can't be excited about the topic at hand. I was very excited about The Last Dance. Lonzo, I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table discussing South Carolina's last season. A season in which, again, we asked fans in this area, on this area, what's your expectation of the season? The overwhelming amount of you was just make a bowl game. 6-6, make a bowl game. The most optimistic of you were like 7-5. There were one of two of you that said, you know what, Rob? I really believe 8-4 is on the possibility. And for the record, Lonzo and I said our ceiling and our floor for every program that we cover. My ceiling for Clemson was make the playoffs, win one game. That's still in play. My ceiling for South Carolina, absolute best that can be done, was 9-3. My floor was 5-7. I said, if you go 5-7 or below, we're going to have an uncomfortable conversation. But I think the talent and the coaching level is there, that probably 7-5 or 8-4 is most likely. And that's going to take a ball break in one way here or there during a game. But that 9-3 was very much on the table as a possibility. Well, here we are, 9-3 in a relatively prestigious bowl game in the the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl. But I'm actually really excited because, again, I believe 3 C's, cash, coach, culture. Those are the 3 things players come to your school for. I believe Shane Beamer has done an excellent job building the culture at South Carolina. I believe that a coach that does an excellent job building the culture is the type of coach that a guy wants to play for. And the Garnet Collective has done an excellent job of building up the cash part of that 3C equation. I'm excited to see that from the standpoint of an outside party looking in at the program. This is probably the sports doc series that I am looking forward to the most since The Last Dance. And I think there's something to be said for that. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. We got a couple of breaking news stories over the last couple of days that we need to address. Rob Lonzo and you, The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Oh, Mike, for the record, I am totally fine. If you're on the stream, I'd rather you chat on the stream. It's easier that way. I get it. All right.
This is extremely toasty in here today, I think.
See, I think it's nicer in here today than it was yesterday. But I also acknowledge I was wearing long sleeves yesterday, and I'm not today.
Also, when you wear that kind of shirt, I think you just automatically feel.
That's also probably fair. Show more. Where is Rock? All apps?
If it's not there, then I'll.
Yeah, I might still need you to send it to me. Not Spark. There's Spark. Don't need that. I don't see it. Pulse sales rate, ADP, Zoom, Adobe, Alpha, Applicant, Audience, Odyssey Analytics, Brainshark, Concur. I don't need to read these things out loud to you people. You don't care.
Yeah, I was just like, what are you doing?
If I'm going through a list and I don't read them, my brain will skip over things. That's the wonderful world of ADHD in which I live.
All right, this is and the link is entirely too long because it's not but it still should get you there. If not, like, shorten all the extra stuff and get it down to the bare minimum. I would have done it, but I'm lazy.
Hey, me too.
I'm not sure it would work for me. Well, I guess I could have logged out and then sent you that, but again, lazy. Did it at least get you in the ballpark to get you in?
I'm waiting for it to come through still.
Oh, that's right. It's got to go all the way up to
You're right. That is a
Pennsylvania.
very long.
Yeah, well.
Cognito. Yes, I'm in. Thank you very much. I'm going to star button that. And I'm going to change the name to Ray Memorial Hotline. All right, we are going to change this to speakers.
In Greenville and in Asheville,
And we are
864-448-3772. It's QC Kinetics.
Absolutely, Jacob. But I felt like yesterday should have been Friday also, but today definitely feels like Friday, even though it's not Friday. It's only daggum Thursday.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Lonzo. I had sent this message to the Hot Rod Brown show.
It's a little more accurate. I
About
mean,
the Lions lost to the Bills the other day. I loved NCBC's speech yesterday, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to rally the ones that are left.
MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount.
Heart going to play more of a factor than skill
$1,500 at the Pro
at
Desk.
this point in
That
time.
means you
I
get the
hope
prices
so.
you need to start
But
any job,
anyway,
small or large. Because
hope
Lowe's
you
knows Pro Desk.
get everything
Dollars
settled
discount
with
on
your
more terms and
voice.
conditions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms
that
or
fixed.
Pro Desk for details.
Woo! Good morning, good morning. Just wanted to say, with the first week of the college football playoffs upon us, I want to show my in-state support for the South Carolina Gamecocks. Good luck with your playoff game. Oh, I just remembered you didn't make the playoffs. Anywho, better luck next year.
Experience the all-new reimagined Nissan kits for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
It just leaves it recording. Amazing.
that thing's interesting on the TV. On the TV up there. It's gone now.
What was it?
It's like a spinning massage thing called Chirp.
Jared texted the show. Jared said, "Hey, Rob, Jared here." That's how I knew it was Jared. That's how I knew Jared texted the show, because he said Jared
Listen,
here.
I would say that's kind of cool for anyone texting that way. I mean,
Hey, Rob, Jared here. About Clemson versus Texas. The overwhelming majority of people are picking Texas, but you have your select few picking the Tigers. My question is, should anyone be picking Clemson? Of course, I hope they win, but look at the facts. Their run game is decimated, lack of depth at wide receiver, and the run defense has been garbage. I ask you, Rob, certified knower of ball, do they have a shot? And the answer, Jared, is, yeah, they got a shot. Just like Vandy had a shot against Alabama. Just like every college football team has a shot. It is the shot, though, that is defined by the concept of, that's why we play the game on grass and not on paper.
hey, man, root for your team. Don't let naysayers and people who don't like your team come at you and tell you shouldn't root for your team. You should always root for your team.
Anyone's saying that. I don't think anyone's saying that. Well, except you.
Well, no, it's saying everyone's picking Texas. That's
Correct.
Kind of said that.
But they're, again,
I'm trying to listen. It's a rallying cry. Come on, true fans.
my job here, as I've said a gazillion times on the show, is not to blow smoke up your metaphorical skirts and tell you how amazing sunshine and rainbows you are. You, Clemson fans, are a dog for a reason, and you're a big dog, and I'm going to keep it a buck with you. There's no chance in Hades Rob Brown is putting money on Clemson to win this game outright. I'm not even sure that I'm betting Clemson to cover this game. Lonzo threw what I think is the number one wild card in this game out there, which is obviously the experience of Dabo Swinney as the head coach. There's one guy in this list that I think is able to go talk to his team and say, hey, look, here's where we are, and here's what we need to do in order to win here. Here's the spot we're in. Here's what's worked for us in years gone by, and here's how we're going to get it done. And that's a big part.
Does he wear the rings when he has this conversation?
I mean, I would if I was him.
I mean,
but I'd also never take him off.
Yeah, I don't think he's that guy. But I mean, it's nothing more effective than going, see this? See this? That's a championship ring. See this? That's a championship ring. Do you want one of these? Listen to me. Let's go out there. Let's play hard. We got this.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and this is one of those things, and we're going to have a conversation later about coach culture and cash, and some schools how they're working different angles to the 3C equation of Cruton. Dabo Swinney, I think, is a guy that you can say one thing about this. If you are on that program, if you are a part of that football club, if you are a Clemson Tiger, there's a very good chance you're there because you wanted to be around Dabo Swinney, right? Like there's one guy on this roster that's a transfer. He ain't even on the roster yet. He joins the roster next season. If you are a Clemson Tiger, you elected to be there. And if you elected to be there, I don't think it is any secret at all that Dabo's got the Dabo way. Dabo's got the philosophy that runs the program.
Daggum philosophy over
and
here.
You know what that philosophy is when you sign on. So I think, to me, it's kind of a situation where the guys that are in that locker room, they don't need Dabo to roll in and flash the rings. They don't need a Dabo to go in there and hang a couple of banners in front of their lockers that say, I know what the hell I'm doing. Listen to me and you'll be fine. I think they already know that. That is one benefit to the Dabo Swinney philosophy. There's a lot of other schools. I point directly to Tallahassee, Florida, and I go, you got a bunch of guys that signed on for all these other reasons. You got a bunch of guys that signed on for NIL money. You got a bunch of guys that signed on to get the bag. And what happened last year was they had a bunch of dudes who signed on only to get the bag. Now, I do think that there is a interesting conversation that's about to take place because Kane left us a message on the Ray Memorial Hotline that we're going to listen to later on in the show in the Armada Audio of the AM segment, which is part of the Audio Blitz, coming up ordinarily at 8 o'clock, but we got Lulu Kesson, so we'll probably do it at the end of the 7 o'clock hour. But Kane left a message in which he is talking about the Detroit Lions, decimated by injuries. They got like 25 guys on the injured reserve right now to do the Detroit Rock City Lions. And he said, look, like, I appreciate the speech, the hype from Dan Campbell, but while you can have all the heart in the world, like, at some point you just run out of talent. You just run out of football players capable of going up against other better football players. And that's fair. And I do think that you could make the argument that Clemson's kind of in this spot right now where they are testing the philosophy of, I'll take 11 guys with heart and grit over 11 All-Americans who are just kind of there. Like, nah, I don't know, man. That works on two assumptions. Number one, it works on the assumption that heart beats talent. I have real bad news for you. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It can.
No, it can't.
It can.
No, it can't. If I take an untalented person with all the heart in the world and I take a really good basketball player, I'm putting my money on the good basketball player. You know how I know? Because I had more heart on my high school basketball team than anybody in the gym. I didn't get a damn scholarship offer from anywhere. That's just how it works. Welcome to the real world, bud.
In my experience, if you have heart, you don't tell people you have heart. People know you do.
Again, I wasn't writing letters to colleges going, hey, come recruit me. I got heart. Hey, Duquesne, I got heart.
Duquesne.
Hey, okay, yeah, that's probably setting the bar a little high.
Yeah.
Setting the bar a little high. Hey, I don't know. What's that? Hey, Valdosta State University. I got heart. Like, yeah, you know what you don't have? Talent. You don't have talent. It's kind of a big deal. You kind of need talent and heart, right? Now, equal amounts of talent, and one's got heart, that wins. But way more talent versus less talent, but a guy with heart talent's going to win.
If you're on the field, the football field, you have some talent or you wouldn't be there.
Yes, but you know what you may not have?
If you're a 3-star with heart, maybe you can play as well as that 5-star.
I mean, maybe.
On a given day. And it's not just you out there. Maybe it's you and like 7 other 3-stars on your starting offense, but you all got heart. Maybe you're going to gain some yards.
Maybe so. But the point here is this.
Because adrenaline, hype, all that kind of stuff, it can make you go a little bit higher than what you normally would go.
The point of all of that is this. Dabo Swinney has built a team that is around Dabo Swinney because the team wants to be around Dabo Swinney. I think that is part of the reason that there has been, until 2 days ago, this hesitancy for Dabo to use the transfer portal, because you go get a guy out of the portal, there is no guarantee that that guy is signing on with you because he truly wants to be a part of this coach's culture, this coach's thing. That's not for sure. And I think that has been the hang up. I don't think it's anything other than that with Dabo's hesitancy, to utilize the transfer portal. But what I'm looking at here, unfortunately for Clemson, is a team that the spots where I wanted them to shine the brightest, running back, they're banged up. The spots where they need the most help, wide receiver, they're banged up, and a couple of guys have hit the portal and gone elsewhere. A couple of guys left, like with a playoff game on the horizon. We're like, yeah, nah, we'd rather go find a starting job somewhere else. So with all of that being said, here's the objective reality. Again, it is not my job to blow smoke up your skirts. I said this yesterday. Lonzo disagrees with me, and that's okay. We're going to have the discussion about it quite a bit today, quite a bit tomorrow. Of the 4 teams that are playing in round 1 of the college football playoffs that enter as underdogs, to me, Clemson is the least likely upset of the 4. Clemson is the least likely. Now, there is something going for you here. The thing that is going for you here is I don't really believe Texas is a national championship caliber team anyway. I think Texas had one of the easiest paths in the Southeastern Conference. I think they took advantage of that. I think twice Clemson had to play a Georgia team that ain't what Georgia used to be. And they got beat twice. And they were in a 9-6 ball game at the half in the SEC title game. But they got beat twice by the only team that was in the top of the SEC that they played. I don't think Texas is a championship caliber football team. And I still think they're better than Clemson are. Sorry. I mean, just objectively looking at paper. If you are being objective, Clemson fans, you have to acknowledge that Texas is a better on-paper team than you. Now, maybe there is a little spark. Maybe the understanding of the situation, the experience under that spotlight that Dabo Swinney has acquired over the past 15 years, maybe that's an X factor that I can't account for in the equation that leads me to pick Texas. Maybe there's a little more to that than I'm giving credit for. But see, here's the thing. While Steve Sarkisian has not necessarily done it as the HC of a squad, Steve Sarkisian is in the Nick Saban coaching tree. Steve Sarkisian has been a part of national championship teams before. He has been a part of playoff teams before. This isn't exactly unfamiliar territory for him. This isn't a guy who got hired from UNLV to come up and then the next year he's in the playoffs. This is a guy who has been part of some major and majorly successful college football programs in the last handful of years. Now, he hasn't been the guy wearing the headset. He hasn't been the guy holding the clipboard. He hasn't been the guy making the calls and making the decisions, but he has been here and he has worked for the guy who did that better than any other guy has ever did that in the history of the sport, in Nick Saban. So he's been here, he's done it, he's seen it. He just hasn't been in charge of it while Dabo has. I don't think there's as much of a gap in separation between the experience that Dabo has in this situation and the experience that Strickland has. Sarkisian has. The one thing that I think Clemson fans can hope for more than anything else is that Steve Sark, when it comes decision time as an HC for the first time, Steve Sark loses it, right? He collapses under the pressure. As I pointed out many, many times, I've had plenty of young guys that I've mentored in the radio world who are wonderful at production, at content creation, at information gathering, at data building, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you go, hey, man, listen, that's a great thing that you just put together. I want to bring you on the show to talk about it. And you go, all right, next up to talk about this thing that he put together this information on. Here's Johnny from the University of West Florida. And you turn on the mic and Johnny goes, and they freeze. Maybe that happens with Sark. But Sark has now played in a few majorly important SEC regular season games. He has now played in an SEC conference championship game with a 1 seed and a bye on the line. And while he lost that game, let's not pretend Georgia skull dragged him. They didn't. It was a good game. It's a good game. So I don't think if I'm a Clemson fan, if the best argument you've got is, well, Dabo's been here and Sark hasn't, I think you're in trouble. I think you're probably about even at the quarterback position. Texas has got a better wide receiver room. Texas has got right now, based on what we know about the running back injuries, a better running back room. And I think Texas has a better run-stop defense. And at the end of the day, I think that they can put this entire game onto the arm of Cade Klubnik, which may not be a bad thing, except your wide receiver room is decimated too. Cade needs help, and I don't think he has it. Brenning School is going to have 15 catches in this game.
Brenning School.
That's what I said.
No, he says school, but that's okay.
Point is, I'm jacked up. I like talking football, all right? Jake Brenningstool is going to have 15. There's one bet on this game that I'm going to make, and that's Brenningstool over catches. It's the only bet I'm making in this game. I'm not making anything else. Maybe Cade Klubnik
I can't wait to
rushing
see
yards.
that dude in the NFL. I wrote to Brenningstool.
He is going to be – he's going to check in just behind Brock Bowers in the dominant factor. I think he is going to be a stud in the pass game. I think he's very Kelsey-esque, honestly.
That's why I can't wait to see him.
I think he's Kelsey-esque. I think he checks in just behind Brock Bowers in terms of rookie impact as a guy. Only bet I'm making is Brenningstool over catches total. That's it. Outside of that, I'm not making any other bets in this game. Unfortunately, Clemson, this is not just an uphill battle. This is like get to the top of Everest battle. And I don't see a world in which we walk in here Monday celebrating a Clemson victory. But we'll find out. We'll talk more about it as the show rolls on. Lonzo will talk more right now about the sports information you need to know as he does a sports flash.
Sorry, I just saw an amazing fake punt. That was great. Jacksonville quarterback Trevor Lawrence had successful shoulder surgery earlier this week, according to head coach Doug Peterson. Lawrence had an AC sprain in his left shoulder repaired and is expected to be ready to participate in off-season workouts in April. Day after being cut, former Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire has signed with the New Orleans Saints, although he was named to the practice squad. Current Saints starter Alvin Kamara status this weekend at Green Bay is in question due to a groin injury, meaning Edwards-Helaire could be on the active roster Sunday. You don't want to lose a groin. It's not good. It's never good. This Saturday at 2:30, tune in this Saturday at 2:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Harvard Crimson. It's Furman versus Harvard right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, upstate. Just read my sports flash in staccato. Accidentally. You know, when you do something wrong, you just go with it. Yeah, that thing.
How the delivery is this time.
Yes.
Beautiful places. Sorry, on your Twitter.
Oh yeah. That keeps popping up for some reason. I don't know why.
That's funny. Oh, it's a calendar.
Yes, it is a calendar.
We always make a big deal out of the calendar with the kids at home. Like the 2024 calendar was like smiling animals, and we would guess like what the next animal was going to be before we went the page month to month. Make it a game. And
I still have calendars up from 3 years ago. So I mean,
that would be. We've actually already got a replacement for 2025, but that would be funny to get. I don't think my wife is not going to go for that.
Yeah, she probably would not. But the conversations you could have with the kids would be, yes.
Well, but what would we guess about? Like, what kind of dog is?
Well, no, the dogs pooping in beautiful places. You got to pick what the next beautiful place they're going to be at. Yeah. Like the Louvre or something. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
Dogs pooping at the Louvre.
it would be considered art. They'll put like the ropes around it, and some billionaire will buy it.
I actually came in here to talk about work.
Boo!
I know. Well,
Nobody wants that.
Aren't we talking about work?
Why would you do that?
I quickly got distracted by Lonzo's X feed.
Yeah, well,
Um,
it's just an ad. I don't really look at it. It's just an ad that showed up.
I know.
I was telling them because I don't want them thinking that.
Yeah.
That I'm into some weird
Lonzo didn't
stuff.
Google dogs pooping.
I did not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not into that. Did you know there's people in hot dogs?
What?
There's human DNA in hot dogs. No, there's been some reports on it. Anyway, especially Rob found out vegan hot dogs, which is hilarious. But anyway,
I was calling to see if you listened to
Hold
any
on,
of
let me
the
answer.
satellite feed today and whether it sounded okay.
it sounded fine. Because I'm in here doing prep and getting everything ready for about, I don't know, half hour to 45 minutes.
You didn't hear any problem.
No. Why was there supposedly?
When does
wrong?
Ryder come on?
10.
When we're off.
Yes. Yes, I have been sent a place to get the backup feed because apparently, people don't like hearing, more Rob Brown show. I don't know why.
Let's just go 6 to 12, bud. We'll just take it all the way to noon.
Yeah.
Let's just go 6 to 6.
Careful what you ask for.
Yeah, I don't
Gosh, I
know.
really-
I don't know why you're saying that. I barely get my work done now. If we do that, I'm gonna have to delegate like crazy.
You guys want an extra 4 hours of the Rob Brown show? We'll take it 6 to 2. We'll go 6 to 3. We'll just lead into wire to wire.
All right.
Lunch catered every day.
Well, we should do that anyway.
Perks.
Yeah. I'm on alert. I'm aware that there could be a problem at 10. So, I don't think there will be.
There will be.
I don't either.
But other people are concerned.
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't think there will be. So
Good morning.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
I'm your huckleberry.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is live. 4 hours of sports talk entertainment at an elite level every single weekday. I am Rob Brown, the great Lonzo on the ones and twos this morning. Listen, I actually had some stuff lined up to talk about how incredible I think the scenes are going to be in Columbus OHZO coming up this Saturday. No, don't take it off the list yet. So I'm not going to, is this thing that that I'm about to read that you just sent to me on there?
it's not just, there's other stuff.
Oh, there's other stuff. We're going to
Yes.
get to all that stuff. Okay. You can probably scratch it off because we're probably going to get to
Okay.
that. A Tennessee fan has apparently been going around Columbus OHZO for the past couple of days. The Vols fans, they are traveling en masse up to Columbus. As a matter of fact, it has been put out by Ohio State, a request to Buckeye fans everywhere. If you have tickets to this Saturday's playoff game against the Tennessee Volunteers, please do not sell them on a secondary market. Why? Because the secondary markets are being overwhelmed right now by Tennessee fans trying to score tickets.
I get it's Christmas, but this is the first 12-team playoff, and your team. Why in the world would you sell your ticket? I mean, what kind of money would they have to give you, Rob Brown, for you to sell a ticket to a playoff game if it's your team in the playoff?
I don't know, but it's going to have 4 digits, and those 4 are going to have to be approaching 5, right? Like those 4 digits are going to have to be on the closer end of 5 digits to get me to sell a ticket. There's a number because as the $1 Million Man famously said, everybody's got a price.
If there was an arbiter in this room, I know what he would say, that you're not a real fan. But there's no arbiter.
I mean, let's be real. If there was, he wouldn't stay in this room very long. Here's the thing.
Not enough spotlight.
Here's the thing. There's a number for everything. And if you say there's not, you're a liar. Okay? You're just a liar is what you are. There's a number. I don't know what that number is. I know for a playoff game, for the first ever 12-team playoff game, for especially if my team's on the road at a place that is known for its home crib advantage, and I got a ticket, I'm showing up. If it is a home crib advantage, I'm definitely showing up to be a part of history.
I don't blame the Tennessee fans. I mean, get your tickets however you can. If you're taking that risk, I'm just going to go there and I'm going to find a ticket. Pretty big risk.
Well, apparently Tennessee fans. So the actual online secondary market, the Ticketmasters, the SeatGeeks, whatever, that are doing resale services for fans. Apparently, they track credit card numbers, they track debit card numbers, they track the zip codes of where purchases are coming from. The overwhelming majority of ticket purchases on the secondary market are going to zip codes that are around Tennessee and the surrounding states right now, to the point that there are some folks that are projecting upwards around to potentially upwards of 38% of the stadium, more than a third of the stadium in Columbus might be clad in orange and white on Saturday. Josh Pate tried to warn the people.
I think America does not fully understand these people. I live in Tennessee, Haley. I am parked in Nashville right now. I know how impossible flights are to get to Columbus for next week or this weekend. I know how rabid they are. I think that anyone surprised by this has not fully embedded themselves in like Tennessee fandom, Tennessee Twitter, Tennessee internet culture. Yes, they're going to have a presence there. And also you're going into a situation where, yes, you've got home field at Ohio State, and that means something. But the weather being in the 20s is supposed to benefit the northern team. And yet, based on style of play, I mean, Ohio State's got to throw the ball a lot more than they did against Michigan for obvious reasons. So Tennessee's the one that can ground and pound a little bit better here. Maybe the weather even plays against Ohio State. They're favored by a touchdown, and yet there's so much uneasiness up there. There's so much unrest. And then you hear all these whispers like, they've had the players-only meetings, Haley, so that rectifies everything. They've gotten their act together. Chip Kelly, the offensive coordinator, said a couple of days ago at his media availability, we've watched the Michigan game. We've identified the problems. Okay, here's the thing. Tennessee gets to try, too. Tennessee's got a pretty good team, too. So you're not playing against air. I'm nervous. Yes, as you can tell, I'm nervous for them.
All right, real quick. They lost one game. I mean, where's the panic? 2 games?
You lost to Oregon, too.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. My bad.
That was a long time ago.
It's okay. It's
that was
okay.
a long time
It was like
ago.
the first game of the season or something.
It's like 4,
all right,
I think.
You lost 2 games. Anyway, so I guess I'm not a true fan because I forgot.
Yeah, Lonzo, God, get it together.
I don't acknowledge.
You're embarrassing Horse Chestnut Nation.
I don't acknowledge the last one. I just went to StubHub to see if there were still tickets available.
Mm-hmm.
And according to that, there's still some. There's
Sure.
a limited amount, but there's still some. And
What are they going for? What's the lowest I'm getting in the door?
Cheapest is for $101. And
That's mind-blowing to me. $100 ticket?
And you are, the Horseshoe has the open end that's no longer open. So now they put seats there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what
So
that
it's
would
not
be
a Horseshoe
called.
anymore?
Well, it is kind of.
No, it's not. Not if they closed up the Horseshoe part of it.
They didn't. It's kind of low. You have to look
They're
at
like
it.
risers?
It's not very high. So if you look at this, if you look at how the stadium is shaped, it's still a horseshoe with like a sock halfway off. I don't know. It's just
those horses famously wearing socks under their shoes.
Well, they wear those warmer things over top their legs sometimes. And the Clydesdales aren't real. So anyway, in that section, that's where the 101s. Those are socks. The things that was.
No, I know, but you said Clydesdales aren't real.
Right, because they're wearing socks. It was a joke.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I didn't say it was a good one.
Listen, I get lost sometimes in your what's real and what's not real conspiracy theories. All right. There's a lot of them. All right.
But that is the cheapest, 101. And trying to see what there was one for 145 and someone already took it. It was like one single ticket. But yeah, it's between 101. Oh, got a one. Nope. That sold 14 minutes ago. 175.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get in the door for $100.
Well,
it's probably a single ticket, but you're getting in the door for $100.
How much should it be?
I have no idea. Welcome to the to the world of capitalism, baby.
No,
and keep in mind, for 101 bucks
seem
on,
like
on
you
a
were-
SeatGeek or whatever, you're also looking at probably like $50 in fees. So, I was.
You seem like you were shocked. What was the number you were expecting?
It's not probably closer to like 250, to be honest with you. Pre fees, I was probably looking closer to like 250. Not really, because we had Denton Day on yesterday, and we actually looked up the numbers, and that's not even the cheapest ticket. The cheapest ticket right now was $60 to get in at Penn State. So I guess congrats on outperforming Penn State. Now,
and it could be one of those things like what you were talking about earlier, is people expect them to win, and they only have so much income. So since they expect them to win,
that's a huge part of
they're
it.
planning on the Oregon game.
I think
which
that
would
is,
actually be a bowl game, and I'm guessing in warmer climate. So that's probably what they're doing.
I have no doubt that that's a part of it. I think these games, as we talked about yesterday with Denton Day, these games are during holiday break for the colleges. The kids aren't there, right? Now, I'm sure there are a bunch of kids. I'm the kid that would have been like, sorry, Mom, I'm not coming home. My school's got a home playoff game. Like, I'm staying on campus,
Dude,
right?
They're like waiting lists to go to Ohio State games. So
I'm
whether
sure
the kids are there or not, it's still in the middle of the city.
I'm sure.
A pretty big city. So
when I was in school, if you wanted a block of tickets for your fraternity or sorority, you had to put that request in like weeks and weeks and weeks out. And if you didn't get them and you wanted a ticket, there was a student wait list to get on. And if you did not get in via the wait list, then you had to just go buy a ticket. But it was, it's easier to get tickets if no college kids are there. And again, I'm not saying that there will be no students there. I am sure that there will be a metric bleep load that are like, I'll be home on the 22nd, Mom, but I'm staying here for the bowl game.
All right, speculation here. Out of all these bowl game or these playoff games this weekend, which is the least attended? Which one do you think will have the least amount of people on the stands?
Based on ticket prices, it's Penn State, right? Based on ticket prices, it's the Penn State home game against SMU. And I get it, because let's look at all the different factors. You're talking about a place in Happy Valley. It's one of those towns where it's just the college, right? It's like Gainesville. It's just all Gainesville is the college and like a Tom Petty memorial on a wall. Like, that's what Gainesville is in its entirety. Happy Valley is just Penn State. That's all. It's just the college. And so if you're going to Penn State, you're going to Penn State. You're not going there and with Austin, they're keeping Austin weird. There's a lot of stuff in Austin. Austin, from what I've been told, and I haven't been there yet, but from what I have been told, Austin is a spectacular go party kind of city. You can go to a game in Austin, but if the game goes sour for you, you can head to downtown Austin and you can find live music and great bars and nightlife and yada yada yada. South Bend's kind of that way. All South Bend is Notre Dame. So if you're going to South Bend, you're going to a game, and that's all there is to it. I've been there. That's all there is to it. So some of these schools that are, only the school that's there, and you got to think about it like this is part of your vacation, right? If Lonzo and I were going to be going to a bowl game this Saturday, we'd have to use a vacation day to do it, stuck onto our Christmas holiday. And if we did that, if I was going to take Monday off to go to a bowl game on Saturday, wouldn't I rather just go ahead and go home and have, a full week interrupted, as opposed to I'm going to take 2 days and fly up to Penn State and go to a game and then have to get on a plane on Sunday and fly to the other side of the country.
I'm not trying to be that guy, but if I were going home, I could go to a bowl game. I mean,
you know what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry.
In my hypothetical here, for people that would be traveling, because yes, you
out of
would
all
be
the
going
hypotheticals
closer.
that you say I break, this
But
is
if
the most reasonable, right?
If you're it makes sense because you would be going back to the place where your team is playing.
Yeah.
But if you're a Clemson fan, I got to go all the way down to Austin, Texas on my Christmas vacation to go to a game, to then get on a plane and come all the way back up here. Now, I think it's different for Clemson. In fact, one of the things I'm interested in was the ACC championship. And we'll come to your water cooler cheat sheet here in just a minute. I know I skipped over it, but this is a fun conversation. I don't care. We're all on our senioritis break right now. Okay, deal with it. I was very unimpressed with the Clemson participation at the ACC title game. ESPN said there were 50,400 in that stadium. I'm telling you, as somebody who was literally standing next to the upright that the game-winning field goal went through, no, there wasn't. No, there wasn't. Me, Jack, and Joey B were at that game, and we were talking about it on the way back. We collectively thought maybe 32, like maybe 32,000. I was unimpressed and uninspired by the Clemson turnout at that game. Joey B is a Clemson fan. He agreed with it. He said, look, here's the deal, man. Like, I'm going to give Clemson fans the benefit of the doubt, and I'm good with this. He said, here's the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt is we kind of think we're going to win this game. And if we win this game, we're going to the playoffs. And so what would I rather do if I'm a Clemson guy? Now, I think this is a booty cheeks excuse because Clemson's 2 hours away. It's not exactly like I got to plan a 3-day weekend around it. I literally got in my car after working a full day, got my car, drove up to the game, went to the game, got in the car, and drove back. And if I can do it, I don't understand, it's an extra hour for you if you live in Clemson. But I'm talking to people right here in our listening area. I was uninspired. But like maybe benefit of the doubt was a lot of those folks were looking and they're going, all right, tickets to this are, they're only like 40. I think it was $40 to get in the door an hour before kickoff. And you could scalp a ticket off the street for like $20 to get in at kickoff, right? But maybe you looked and you went, you know what? if we get in, we're going to go somewhere. And there was obviously the chance that Clemson could have ended up at a Notre Dame. There was a chance that they could have ended up in a couple of different, like relatively historic college football stadiums. And maybe a bunch of Clemson fans were saving it up for that. But, and this is something we got to talk about later, I am intrigued to see, based on attendance figures and based on one other thing that Lonzo has been talking about for a couple of weeks now, if the schedule as it has been created remains the same. What do I mean by that? Does the college football playoff calendar for the early rounds stay where it is, move up a week or back a week? Because not only are you talking about it being during Christmas break for students and for adults, but as Lonzo's pointed out a number of times, it is in a window now that college football's done. It is in a window that it is going directly up against the NFL this Saturday. Head-to-head contest against an NFL game. And we're going to get an opportunity for the first time, because, they've always said, well, bowl games against NFL. Of course, the NFL is going to win, of course. But if it was a big college football game, well, it does not get any bigger than these games with the exception of the championship game itself, right? So we're going to get a look at a genuinely good and important college football game going head-to-head with the NFL at a point in time where the NFL is important. We got 3 regular season games left. There are playoff spots on the line this weekend, including on Saturday. If Kansas City loses on Saturday to Houston because Mahomes is dinged up and the Bills win this weekend, we got a 2-way tie for the 1 seed and the Bills have the tiebreaker. The 1 seed in the AFC could theoretically flip-flop this weekend. No, wait, they're down 2 games, aren't they? Or are they down 1? They're down 2 games now?
It's 2 games. The Chiefs have a 2 games.
Okay, if the Chiefs lose and the Bills win.
They'd have to lose 2 out of the next 3.
But again, if Mahomes is dinged up, point is.
Which Mahomes came on and said that's why he's playing.
There is
and I have to cross something else off the list.
The point here is that there are big-time playoff implications on the line here. Big-time playoff implications on the line in the NFL, obviously, and in college football. They're going head-to-head. If the NFL on Saturday kicks the crap out of college football in the ratings, what's the driving decision-making factor for everything college football does now? Mucho dinero.
What's the early game for college?
Let's see. Let's pull it because I can't do it off the top of my head. The bracket. I know we have Notre Dame, Indiana, which is on Friday night, and that one's going to be interesting too. A Friday night, because Friday night historically not a great time for television ratings. We have on Saturday, we have the noon game is SMU at Penn State. The 4:00 game is Clemson at Texas. The 8:00 game is Tennessee at Ohio State.
Okay, so what are the NFL games? I already know, but still.
Your NFL schedule for the weekend. We have a Thursday nighter between Denver and the Chargers in LA. We have a Saturday set of matchups. We actually have 2 games going up against college football because we have the noon kick, as we mentioned a second ago. We have the noon kick between SMU and Penn State. Now, the NFL game is Houston at Kansas City. Doesn't start till 1:00.
Right.
So if we see like really good SMU Penn. But here's the other thing. SMU Penn State is going for $60 a ticket right now. So I don't know if that's a lack of interest in being in Happy Valley or if that's just a lack of interest in this game between two teams that, with all due respect to Penn State and SMU, nobody believes either one of these teams is winning the Natty this year, right? So they're up against Houston, Kansas City, and then you've got the 4:00 game, which is Clemson in Texas. That is up against a 4:30 kick between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That's a big game too.
So here's the thing: the two NFL games are very big
and important,
and the two college games are predicted kind of blowouts, right?
I don't know that I would say blowout as of right now. SMU is a 8.5-point dog. Clemson is a 12-point dog. So big, yeah. I mean, I guess 2-score win for Penn State. 2-score win for Texas. A little bit larger line for Texas over Clemson. If the opening round of the college football playoffs gets devastated by the National Football League's 2 games on Saturday, could we see, especially knowing that it's winter break on college campuses where these games are taking place, could we see the college football world shift the calendar forward 1 week? Could we see college football start a week earlier in order to get to these playoff games a week earlier so that they are not up against the NFL? I don't know. It doesn't matter because we got more games coming down the pipe. I don't even know if it matters all that much. We can keep talking about this. We got some more college football we need to get to. We'll get some NFL and more. Lulu Kesson at 8 o'clock. Rashad Beard at 8:40. Hayden Ask Mario at 9 o'clock. Fight Club at 9:20. All coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
The button wasn't working. QC Kinetics.
Ladies and gentlemen, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader for non-surgical regenerative therapy for joint pain. If you are dealing with joint pain, fans that is a call to action. In a social media post that went up yesterday, the AD in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, said in what is a very long letter, quote, Alabama fans, over the past few years, there have been drastic changes in college athletics. We have been careful during this transitional period to protect our position at the top of college athletics while being mindful to listen, engage, and learn from our generous supporters, proud alumni, and unrivaled fans to make sure that we protect our great traditions here at Alabama. But there's a time for talk and a time for action. Now is a time for action. Although we have been competitive from an NIL standpoint, our competition has us in their sights and are actively trying to surge ahead with NIL. You have heard examples of other teams using promises of $1 million paydays to lure away our players or convince them not to come to Alabama. It's time for the Bama Nation to fight back. Under the new model of college athletics, which is the result of an antitrust lawsuit against the NCAA, a university can succeed if their fans purchase authentic NIL from student athletes. The good news is when Yeah Alabama, which is the Twitter handle of the Alabama Collective, was created last year, the focus was on providing our fans with a legitimate product rather than booster inducements. Yeah Alabama delivers exclusive content and access you cannot get anywhere else. We also have a plan to grow Yeah Alabama's offerings with more videos, features, and news in 2025. So please visit yeahalabama.com/join to join. A subscription to Yeah Alabama isn't about the now, it's about the future. It's about roster retention for future seasons, keeping our legends in crimson. It's about attracting and developing the best recruits in the country to represent the Script A. You being a part of the team has never been more important. At Alabama, we've not measured ourselves against our competition. We are the standard, and that measurement is against the mirror and against a rich and proud history, but it's impossible to ignore what is taking place in college athletics. Hungry fan bases are acting decisively to give their respective programs competitive advantages. We must respond. We are Alabama. End quote.
Roll damn tide.
Roll damn tide. That's right. I got a cup of thoughts here.
I got $10 or send towards it, and that's all I got. But I'll send it to them to the Tide now.
I want to start.
Not really.
I want to start with
fundraisers, man. Fundraisers.
I want to start with an actual pat on the back to Alabama. I think they've actually developed something that is very interesting here. It is not necessarily a Bama network. Remember the big to-do when Texas propped up the Longhorn Network. They were the first school to really say, like, we're going to establish kind of a broadcasting outlet by Texas fans for Texas fans. And there was a big brouhaha over it because they raised a bleep load of money. And they did it with ESPN's help. And a lot of schools, including Texas A&M, which is the reason, well, one of the reasons that they left the Big 12 and joined the Southeastern Conference, was because ESPN was, at the time, helping out Texas with the Longhorn Network. And A&M was going, well, this isn't fair. This is creating a competitive in-conference disadvantage for us, and we're not going to stand for it. We're going to head over to the SEC. At least we'll get that big-time cash over there. Alabama, with this Yay Alabama network concept, has done something very smart. They're saying, look, we will give you more access than ever before. We will give you BTS looks. We will take you in the locker room. We'll give you interviews and stuff with Kalen DeBoer and with players that you cannot get anywhere else. And in order to gain access to that, you're going to pay what is effectively a subscription cost, but that subscription cost is going to go towards NIL. It's a good idea. It's a good concept. A concept where you get access that is even less restricted than it usually is. You get access that even social media followers cannot get. One of the things that's been worked on, I'm actually helping out one of our local teams right now, kind of communicate with their fans a little bit better. And one of the things that I have told them a number of times is, hey, you've got to not only be on the social media, you got to be constantly on the social media, and you've got to be engaging. It is not just about posting something that is, a fun picture of your players showing up on game day in their fits, But when people are responding to that, you've got to respond back. You've got to have that interaction, that engagement. So here's Alabama saying, hey, look, we're going to do that. We're going to give you additional content and additional interaction that you can't get just by following us on Instagram or just by following us on Twitter. I think that's a great idea. But then there's the other side of this coin. And this is something that I have said to a friend of the show, Shane Beamer. This is something I have said about Lane Kiffin. This is something I've said about Kirby Smart. And it's now something I'll say about Greg Burns. Greg Byrne, if you are accusing other colleges of tampering, which is what you are effectively doing here, if you are accusing other colleges of tampering, then call them out or STFU. That's it to me. Like we hear a coach, it feels like every 2 weeks during portal season and during recruiting season. It feels like every 2 weeks we get a coach or an athletic director who grabs a mic and goes, well, we know that some of our players are getting phone calls from other schools making them big-time $1 million offers. Then tell us who they are. If you do not tell us who they are, then there is nothing that we can do about it. I don't know how this is still a thing. What it leads me to believe, and I don't want to accuse Greg Byrne of this because, again, I think Greg Byrne and the Alabama Athletic Department have crafted a good idea here. I suspect it is a model that other schools are likely going to jump on board with in the very near future, like today. I think they've crafted a good idea here. But there's one of two things that are happening here. Number one is they are... this is actually happening. Number one is other schools or representatives of them are getting in touch with these players and are making them offers that could, at least in the court of public opinion, be argued is tampering. If you're not willing to name them, then I don't care. Matt Rule did this. Matt Rule did this leading into this year during the offseason. He's like, some of our best players are getting phone calls from other schools in the conference, offering them X amount of dollars. Greg Byrne is saying not just that kids are being offered money, they're being offered money just not to go to Alabama, not to go to any particular place, but just not to go to Tuscaloosa. Greg, say their name. Give me the receipts. Who is contacting? Who is saying what? Who is doing this? If you're not willing to bring, I don't know what just happened there. I have no idea what that was. If you're not willing.
We were about to have to, I was getting ready to take us to break really quick.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. If you're not willing to put a name on the table, if you're not willing to drop a text message or play a voicemail or read an email or whatever, if you're not willing to do that, then what do you want us to do? Shut up. Drop the names or shut up. The other angle of this is there's a very good way that con artists and snake oil salesmen have operated for a very long time. Create a threat and then provide the solution to it. It's called a grift. It's called a grift. Politicians do it. Lawyers do it. Authority figures in every institution do it. You create a straw man boogeyman. And then you say that the only person who can defeat that boogeyman is us. And the only way we can do it is with your money, right? This is why I get so mad about people saying that, oh, the aliens are here, Bigfoot's here, blah, blah, blah. Because if you'll fall for that, then when somebody with way worse intention than selling some books starts to get in power, what do? They go, all your problems are created by that thing over there. That entity, that person, that group of individuals, all your problems are created by that. And I can stop that. But in order to stop that, you have to give me your money. Greg Byrne, if he's not willing to name names, I am going to work under the assumption is creating a boogeyman in college football. And he is saying the only way for us to stop that boogeyman is for you to give us your money. That's a grift, bud. That's a con. That's snake oil. And that's where I start to have a problem. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Do you not understand Did I have to go to the restroom?
No, I did not. You have to play your clip.
I did. I didn't. I couldn't shoot. You were making a great point. I didn't want to interrupt you with the shoes.
I agree. I was making a great point. Jacob said I'd settle for the show 6 to noon. Oh God. I mean, I could, but that's a lot. I'm gonna tell you right now. I haven't made the bet yet. I want to see what this line does a little bit, but I may put a sprinkle on Tennessee to outright win this thing. I may put a sprinkle on that. All right, give me 30 seconds, guys. I'll be right back. The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Robin, Lonzo, and you. 844-326-3663. 844-FANFONE is the number. If you want to jump on the phone line, you can text us 71307-71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. John Dog texts the show. He said, Alabama's AD sounds scared and desperate. Honestly, I got to think like all ADs are to some degree, right? Like this is a world. This is one of those things that, you know, personal philosophy and sports sometimes meet. I've talked before about that Venn diagram of politics and sports. I got politics over here, I got sports over here. And while we try to keep them separate, there's a little sliver in the middle where there's two circles overlaps. And you can't keep politics out of sports because politics directly interacts with sport. It's not an option sometimes. This House v. NCAA lawsuit, we are going to have, as this thing progresses, a hell of a lot of politics in sports, because not only will there be the lawsuit itself, but I got Charlie Baker on Capitol Hill literally yesterday. You will start having politicians that begin to utilize college athletics, both because they want to see legislative change within the game, but also, as they always do, many of those politicians on both sides of the aisle will begin to utilize this platform to further their agenda, and college sports will be the either beneficiary or negative recipient, whatever word I'm looking for here, of that.
I'm trying to figure out why this is a bad thing, what the Alabama AD is doing. He just understands the landscape of college football now, and it's about NIL and the money that you can provide to players, and he's trying to get the fans to pony up a little. That's what he's doing.
Listen, I started that last segment with a pat on the back to Greg Byrne. All right. I said, look, I'm going to come after you in a second, but I'm going to start with what is more important, which is this is a clever, ingenuitive idea to raise additional NIL funds. It is not just a matter of, because I've seen a lot of schools that have come out and have asked their fans, hey, please chip in to our NIL collectives. Please donate to our NIL collectives. Alabama has come up with the way to say, look, we're going to give you more of what you want in return for that donation, and we're going to do it by providing something literally no one else can provide. Because here's the thing.
The next step is former players and celebrities doing this for their team.
There are people, 100%. There are people like me that we cover your teams. We cover Clemson. We cover South Carolina. We cover Furman. As a matter of fact, I'll be on the phone with Jason Donnelly, the athletic director of Furman, later on today, because they've had some shifts in personnel over there, and I want to I'm staying in touch with the AD of the school to make sure that we are up to date with everything that's going on to cover that team for you. We can cover as much as we can cover every single day, but at the end of the day, I don't have locker room access on a daily basis. I don't have the ability to be able to sit in on every meeting that's happening at these schools and go, hey, this is what was talked about yesterday. We can bring on reporters, as we will coming up here in about 18 minutes when Lulu Kessin from the Greenville News joins the show, who covers the Gamecock Athletic Department in person. I can bring Lulu in and say, Lulu, tell me what's going on. And she's going to have a heck of a lot more insight into the actual movings and shakings of the program, because she's there boots on the ground with the AD. But even still, she's not going to be able to provide you content that the athletic department itself can provide. So Greg Burns is saying, look, you want content, right? Welcome to America in 2024. Everything is about brand and content. It does not matter what you are doing. Everything is about brand and content. Well, the people that are in the best position in any given entity here, the people that are in the best position are the people who own the brand and the content. That's Alabama's athletic department in this case, right? And so what they have done here is say, what do fans want? Fans want to feel connected. I told this to a president of a local sports team just a couple of days ago. I said, Rob Brown, do you have any ideas how we can make our social media better? I said, I sure do. There are two things that I think take your social media above and beyond if you're a sports team. Number one is being an excellent representation of the community. Now, every community is different. A representation of the city of Detroit is a world's different representation than a representation of the city of Greenville. A representation of Buffalo, New York is a vastly different representation than the representation of Kansas City, Missouri. It's that you represent your city well in the eyes of the city itself. The second thing that you have to do is you have to make fans feel included in what you are doing. You have to make fans feel as if they are a part of what you are doing, as if they actually have, if nothing else, some level of control over what you are doing. They have to feel like they have a voice, like their voice is a part of what happens. And Greg Byrne and the athletic department in Alabama have done just that. They have created a model where you are going to get content to see how the brand is representing you, and you are going to be able to engage with those who create the content so you feel like your voice is included. And he's saying, if you want in on that, we're going to ask you for X amount of dollars per month. Is that desperation? No. That's college football in the year 2024. That's what that is. Nothing else. And so I applaud Greg Byrne for the concept, for the idea, for getting the athletic department directly involved in giving something to the NIL that the NIL can use to gain awareness and attention. That's not the problem. That's not the reason I brought this story up. The reason that I brought this story up is one reason and one reason alone, because you can add Greg Byrne to the list of college football higher-ups that have now come out and said, people are making calls, and they are, in effect, tampering to the level that they may be doing it in a way that actually is against the few guidelines and regulations that the NCAA put into play regarding NIL. And that's fine if you want to say that. But just like anything else, it is something totally different if you say that, but you're not willing to say who's doing it. And this is where I get to the point in the conversation, like I said. Some of you have asked in days gone by, Rob, why do you get so heated when people talk about Bigfoots and aliens and all this stuff? And the answer is a principle thing, right? Because if I can get you to believe with no evidence that Bigfoot's real, that aliens are real, that Atlantis is real, whatever fictional thing, that the Jersey Devil is real, that the Mothman is real, whatever it is, if I can get you to believe that with no evidence, then the limit of things that I can get you to believe with no evidence skyrockets. It becomes exponentially larger. And this is that line where philosophy and sports start to blur a little bit. This is how people end up in positions where you go, how in the world did that person get power? In whatever regard you were talking about. How did that person get power? Well, for many of them, there's a process to this. And the process is step one, create the boogeyman. Convince people that the bad man is out there to get you. And that can be any entity at all. It can be a person. It can be a group of people. It can be another country. It can be another religion. It can be any number of things. It can be people with different lifestyles than you. Can be any number of things. But you create a world in which they're the bad person. All of that out there caused by that person or those people or that group, they're causing all the problems in your life. Don't research that. Don't think critically about that. Just trust me on this. They're the ones that are creating all of these problems for you. And I am the one who can fix it for you. I am the one who can make those bad people go away. But I can only do it if you give me money, power, entitlement rights to something, someone, whatever. I am the only one who can make the bad people stop doing the bad things. And that is how we end up in a spot where we have not great stuff happening out around the United States of America, right? Because I've so many people that are just adamantly opposed to each other. You voted for that person, and therefore I think you're a bad person. If the two sides of the equation were to sit down and genuinely think critically about their belief system, why they believe what they believe, what information did they take in, what evidence did they had, how did they arrive at that belief, and they were to sit down and really put that into perspective, I think there would be a great revelation across America that we ain't exactly as far apart as we might think we are sometimes. It's just that a lot of us, myself included, hold beliefs that we've never really evaluated the foundation for them. And so this is where this problem comes from. And this is why I circle back around to Greg Byrne has created this boogeyman for Alabama fans. Alabama fans, you are and should be very proud of what your school's athletic department has accomplished over the past few years. You have been the dominant force in college football. Your basketball team, despite having, by the way, a whale of a game against North Dakota State on the road last night. I watched that game. It was good. Your basketball team is one of the best 3 or 4 basketball teams in America right now. Your gymnastics team is a force. What the athletic department in Tuscaloosa, Alabama has done over the past 2 decades is something that every athletic department everywhere should strive to accomplish. Greg Byrne has told these Alabama fans, and this is something that is very prevalent in politics, if you want to maintain your position of privilege and power in this world, you have to stop the bad man. Well, guess what? Only I can stop the bad man. And if you want me to stop the bad man from being bad, you need to give me your money. This is why, whether it's Matt Rule or Shane Beamer or Greg Byrne or anybody in college football, even if I like them, because I like Greg Byrne. I think he's a great athletic director. We obviously like Shane Beamer. He's a friend of the show. I like Dabo Swinney. I like all these guys as dudes. But I would say even to them, if you are going to say that there's a bad man out there, that the bad guys coming for your school, that the bad guys coming for your players, then name them. Then name them. Because if you do not name them, then I can't do anything about them. If you won't name them, then there is nothing I can do about it. And I am at the point in my life, and this is just a personal position of one Rob Brown, I am at the point in my life where if somebody says that person or group of people or entity are bad and we got to stop them, but you can't identify why what they're saying is bad, you just say it's bad, then I will not elect you, vote for you, or give you a dime because I know what you're doing. The grift is real, okay? That's just how it works. So when I see people like Greg Byrne or Matt Rule or Shane Beamer say, oh, you know, our guys are getting these phone calls offering them multi-million-dollar deals to leave or to go or to not be here or whatever. If you're not willing to name those people, then I'm not going to believe that they are real. Or I'm going to believe that they are real, but that you're doing it too. And you know that if it's, say, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Joey Freshwater, if Joey Freshwater is calling your guys and offering up $1 million checks to come to Ole Miss, and you're not willing to say their name, if you're not willing to say their name, then one of 2 things are true. Either it's not happening or you're doing it too. And you know that if you jump on the mic and go, Lane Kiffin called Juice Wells and offered him $1 million to come down to Oxford next year and play wide receiver for the Ole Miss Running Rebels, that Joey Freshwater's just going to grab a mic and go, yeah, so did they. They're calling around too. And here's my evidence of that, right? And if everybody's doing it, then it's hard for me to get mad at a school for doing it. So we have 2 options here. Number 1, you can call them out and take advantage of one of the few guideposts that the NCAA did put up, or you can shut up. Just go fundraise. Just go fundraise without the fear tactics. Just go fundraise and say, we need more NIL money. If you want to keep being Bama, we got to keep playing Bama caliber players. And if we got to keep paying Bama caliber players, we need your money to do it. Come online, join this organization. We're going to send you a behind the scenes social media post every day so you have more insight to what's going on than any other Bama fans out there who aren't members. Do that. Stop making up boogeymen. Stop making it look worse than it is unless you're willing to name names and let us know who we need to go get. It's not that tough, man. It's not that tough. Hey, coming up in the next segment, the lovely Lulu Keston of the Greenville News is going to join us, tell us what's going on in the world of Gamecock athletics. But that is before the lovely Lonzo reads you this lovely sports flash.
Every time Rob says boogeyman, I think I'm the boogeyman, and I see worms. Jacksonville quarterback Trevor Lawrence had successful shoulder surgery earlier this week, according to head coach Doug Peterson. Lawrence had an AC sprain in his left shoulder, by the way, not laughing at the fact that he had that surgery. Rob was doing a thing, and is expected to be ready to participate in offseason workouts in April. Gamecock standout defensive end, Bronco Nagurski Trophy winner Kyle Kennard has opted out of the Citrus Bowl. The 6'5", 254-pound edge rusher led the SEC in tackles for loss and sacks and will sit out the bowl to prepare for the NFL draft. Federal judge granted an injunction to Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia, granting him another year of eligibility. Cool for him. Cool for Vandy. Tune in Saturday at 2:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Harvard Crimson. It's Furman versus Harvard right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball, the Fan Upstate. What Rob usually says, I got to get Lulu on the phone, so I guess, yeah, we'll be back. You know, it's almost Christmas. I don't know why you're bringing up that villain, Grandpa Joe.
There's nothing to it. Come with And you'll be.
Deadbeat, freeloading loser, Grandpa Joe.
Yeah, Grandpa Joe did suck.
He's also a thief. Everything he accused Willy Wonka of, he was. He was a swindler. It was Grandpa Joe. What a horrible role model for Charlie also. I've been bedridden before. You don't just jump out and do all that stuff.
The third hour of the Thursday rolls on.
Really? That's just, I mean, that was on purpose.
I didn't really have an intro scripted there. I was just kind of making that up.
Okay. All right.
You know, old brain was spinning in circles there for a second. I'm going to keep it a buck with you, ladies and gentlemen. Little touch of the senioritis going on. All right.
Burn it down!
We got today, we got tomorrow. We're off Saturday and Sunday. We're back on Monday. Then we're off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We make our return on Monday. We're in Monday, Tuesday. We're off on Wednesday. We're back Thursday, Friday. And then we truly begin the new year with a regular broadcast schedule. We are very fortunate to have all of those days available to take off. And
absence makes the heart grow fonder. So that's our gift to you. Know us for a while, and then we'll be back, and it'll be like Christmas all over again.
It's like the ghost of Christmas past. Know us for a while, and then you'll know us even better.
Wow.
I know.
That's award-winning content.
Like a modern-day Mark Twain over here. You know what Mark Twain was? A writer. You know who else is a writer? Bang! Segue from the Greenville News. She covers the South Carolina Gamecock Athletic Department.
All right. That was a little aggressive.
That was a very aggressive.
I apologize for that.
Very aggressive club horn, but deserved nonetheless by the lovely Lulu Kesson, who joins us every single Thursday at 8 a.m. to talk a little Gamecock athletics. Good morning, Lulu Kesson. How do you do?
Good morning. How are you guys? I'm happy to be here as always. I'm good.
I'm happy to have you. And I want you to know, Lulu, it was a milestone in the broadcasting career of one Rob Brown a couple of weeks ago because I made Mama Kesson's Instagram story. She posted the clip of you wishing her a happy birthday last week. I made the IG story, and I got to tell you, I'm probably going to go ahead and put that on the resume for future considerations.
That's hilarious. So I'm at home in Massachusetts right now. I got to go home early for the holidays, and my parents, they're like, oh my God, you're like going to do it live from our house. They thought it was like so cool, and they're also upset because they can't listen to it live because like it'll echo and it will be weird. So like I guarantee you that their like ears are pressed against the door right now, and they're like listening from it like actually happening live from my room. But
Hi, Mom! There you go. Maybe she heard that. I don't know. Tell your folks I said hello. They're fantastic. All right. Let's get into some stuff here, Lulu Kesson. We learned yesterday Kyle Kernard going to sit out the bowl game in preparation for the 2025 National Football League draft, which I don't blame the kid. I don't blame him. All I need is for him to go down to an ACL and end up getting Jonathan Brooks like the Panthers are dealing with right now, leading up to what is effectively a meaningless contest.
All right, I just want to interrupt for a second. That robs us of a possible Jadeveon Clowney moment.
Don't care.
Yeah, I'm just care. Saying.
I'm not willing to bet Kyle Kernard's future NFL salary on, oh, cool, fun hit, right? Like I'm not there. Lulu Kesson, we know Kyle Kernard is out. Do we have any other knowledge of players that are thus far opting out of the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl?
Shane said yesterday that one other player is currently on the fence, but that everyone else has actively said that they want to play for win number 10. I believe him, even if that's potentially a little bit of, hiding the fact that maybe some other players besides just one are considering not playing. But genuinely, I wouldn't be surprised at all if a lot of the seniors and upperclassmen that do kind of potentially have NFL futures like Rocket Sanders or even maybe Demetrius Knight, like if they are like, heck yeah, we're still going to play.
So, I've said before on the show, Lulu Kess, and I believe I've said it to you, to me, there are three things, the 3 C's of recruiting. And obviously you got to recruit kids out of high school. I think you got to recruit kids to stay around. The 3 things you've got to have are coach, culture, and cash. You got to have a coach that players want to play for, a culture that players enjoy being in, and cash to make them want to be there. And which of the C matters the most to different players is obviously up to those players. But the one thing that I have given Shane Beamer credit for since the day he stepped on campus was I think he does as good, if not a better job than anybody else at building culture, at having players feel like they are part of something special, which makes them want to put more into it than maybe they would if they were just chasing a bag or just playing for a coach. When the game is, again, ultimately meaningless in the grand scheme of things, my thought would be here, if all these kids are full tilt, if all these kids say, yeah, I'm in, even if I do have an NFL contract on the line, my thought here is Shane Beamer's built a culture that makes these kids want to pour more into it, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to talk to Shane one-on-one for about a little over an hour last week. I got to interview him for a story one-on-one, basically about kind of what you just said, the culture, about how much he cares about his players. And what struck me the most is just that in general, college football is changing so much. Sometimes it feels like minute by minute, there's a different law that's passed or just a different kind of dynamic or different thing coaches have to deal with, whether that's NIL or pay or anything like that. Whereas Shane is going to adapt, but he's going to remain consistent to the fact that he really, really, really cares about the players. And I don't think it gets lost on him that when he's asking for these players to come into the program, when he's recruiting, they're young kids, and he wants to make sure that they know that he's going to support them and treat them like the age that they are, like 17, 18, 19-year-old boys. Like, he's going to hold them to an incredibly high standard, and there's going to be an aspect of discipline, but he's going to talk to them about their emotions. He's going to talk to them about whatever's happening off the field. And I think that just creates a culture of a lot of openness that is allowing kids this year who's seeing, success on the field. They're also loving the environment that they're in. They're not just winning, they're winning in a way that's enjoyable. And I think that's why a lot of people who, like you said, could easily opt out of the bowl game want to stick around, and they want to say, hey, I want to be the 5th team in program history to win 10 games at South Carolina.
How big is that to get to that double-digit win mark? We've talked about this a number of times. Before every season, Lulu Kess and I ask fans of every team, what are your realistic expectations? What's your ceiling? What's your floor? The ceiling this year, for me, I said it was 9-3. I thought even with a bowl win, this team could probably accomplish a 9-win season at their best. Here they are going for 10. Even if win number 10 is in a bowl game, even if win number 10 is, again, I know I'm kind of harping on it this morning, but a meaningless game, is it meaningful? What's the attitude about the potential to grab win number 10 for the Gamecocks?
I think it's very meaningful, I guess, beyond even just the number. And I say that only because South Carolina basically not begged, but they've really wanted to play in the Citrus Bowl. So I think that Shane and honestly everybody else, they're like, okay, we were very fortunate enough to be placed in a really, really competitive and really great bowl. Like, we can't go out there and play flat. We can't go out there and kind of play like crap. I think another aspect, maybe I'm not reading into this, but maybe I'm just thinking of this too much, but I imagine some of it is like, we were very vocal complaining about the fact that we didn't make the playoffs, so we can't drop a bowl game now. And I'm saying we in the perspective of like the players that maybe, or even Shane, like, hey, we kind of were always on ESPN making headlines because I was so upset that we weren't considered for the playoffs after, beating X number of ranked opponents. Okay, we're given a really great bowl game, and then if they don't win, it's kind of like, maybe not the best look. But again, that might just be me kind of like attaching too much meaning to that. But I think that is potentially another factor. Like, okay, despite the fact that you guys, despite the fact that they think they got snubs from the playoffs, they gathered everything after the holidays, collected themselves, and came out and ended the season on a high note.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think that you are reading too much into that, Lulu Keston. And I say that because of what happened to Florida State last year, right? They go 13-0. They win the ACC. They are left out of the playoffs. They end up going and playing Georgia in a bowl game, and they get absolutely shellacked. But as I've pointed out to people, they played with their third string on both sides of the football because the guys that didn't get in were like, bleep this, we're out. Like, what's the point of this game? Like, results don't matter. We don't care anymore. And while I think it is perfectly valid and justifiable for Florida State to have effectively punted on that game, here we are a year later, and they are still getting beat up about it. They are still getting dumped on by college football fans for being weak and being this and being that. And I do have to wonder if some of that attitude has kind of started to seep onto the team, and maybe that's why that team turned around and ended up having maybe the worst season in the history of Florida State football. I don't think you're reading too much into it. I absolutely think it may very much matter for South Carolina to put on display that this is not something that they, take lightly.
Right. And I also think, like Shane said, like we're gonna handle this the right way. And I think, again, kind of like to the culture that you're talking about, I think it's sort of like, okay, we can't dwell on what happened so much where it lingers into the last game of the season, where we have a really great opportunity here to play a really competitive, meaningful bowl game that has historic implications for our program.
Lulu Keston joins us every single Thursday at 8 a.m. to talk South Carolina athletics. All right, real quick, Lulu, because we will not likely – actually, no, I do think we will speak to you one more time. No, we won't. We're off next week. We will not talk to you again before that bowl game. So I know we're a ways out. I know we've got some time between here and there, but – what are your thoughts on this bowl game overall? And it can be from the perspective of development of the program, development of individual players, the legacy of being a 10-win team at South Carolina, et cetera. Just kind of what are your overarching thoughts about the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl?
Well, I think even if some of the upperclassmen or people who are potentially, playing or declaring for the NFL draft decided not to play, the majority of those people, besides Kyle Kennard, well, actually, honestly, most of those people, including Kyle Kennard, would be on defense. Sorry. And so it's like the offense is going to be young anyways. And so like Shane's getting exactly what he's had all year in terms of wide receivers, like, ish tight ends, like if Josh Simon is back to play. So it's like, it's just kind of going to be another game for Lenoris. However, if people on defense like Demetrius Knight decide not to play, or Debo Williams or Boogie Huntley or TJ, like if people on defense, it'll kind of just be a flash in a look at next year, in my opinion, because yes, they don't have a lot of the incoming recruits and some of the transfers who could very well start next year after a great training camp or whatever. But at the same time, if Shane, uses his depth at some point on defense, combined with, just the offense he's had all year, I think it might be, depending on the score, it might be a chance for him to kind of see into the future a little bit.
All right, let's flip over here for just a minute or two and talk about the South Carolina women's basketball team, obviously looking to go win another title. They are 10-1 thus far in the season. They currently sit technically first place in the SEC, but that's because we have not had an SEC game in the women's side in conference yet. There is one loss on the schedule. It came a handful of weeks ago on the road at a pretty good UCLA team, a team that is inside the top 5 in the country. Little bit of a stretch here I think Lulu Kesson for the women's team to kind of shape up a little bit. You got Charleston Southern, Wofford before you start SEC play with back-to-back roadies at Mizzou and at Mississippi State. Before we break any of these games and what the schedule in conference looks like coming up, kind of talk, folks, maybe give a bit of an introduction for the folks who are just starting to come over from the football world into basketball.
Yeah, I think South Carolina women's basketball was a completely different team before the UCLA loss, in the sense that I think they were really struggling to find their identity, specifically on offense. And once UCLA, the loss sort of, in my opinion, woke them up a little bit. It kind of snapped them really quickly out of some bad habits. They've looked like a different team, particularly in the half-court offense. You're just seeing a lot better ball movement, more productivity with, using the post players and also letting the guards score. It's just they're figuring out how to have a more balanced scoring attack, because last year, obviously, 6'7" Camila Cardoso was not only the person that most plays were run and designed for, but also every missed shot, she most likely could have the quick 2-point rebound. So I think that South Carolina, understandably so, has just work to find their identity on offense. And then overall, their defense has been pretty solid. Dawn Staley was a little bit critical, rightfully so, honestly, of South Florida on Sunday, just because South Carolina looked so good against TCU on defense the week before. I think TCU scored 9 points in the second quarter and 9 points in the third. Like, it was just a defensive clinic. And then South Carolina came out really strong the first quarter Sunday, and then kind of let up a little bit. So I think with 2 games left before conference play, it's kind of just about cleaning things up and being more consistent overall. Yes, South Carolina is only lost 1 game, but my biggest takeaway is that some of the good habits just need to be, there needs to be more consistency with the positive things that are happening on the court, because they were able to shake off a little bit of the multi-game bad habits, but now it's about, okay, you did that really well. Can you do that really well for 4 games instead of 2?
Lulu Kesson from the Greenville News joins us every Thursday at 8 a.m. And obviously, the next time we speak with Lulu will be in the new year. We will have a bowl game result to break down, and we will turn our attention towards basketball. Lulu, you are the best. Thank you so much. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas. Tell the same to your parents, and we will talk to you in the new year, ma'am.
I will. And happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you guys. Thanks so much. This was such a great part of my 2024, and I look forward to bringing it into 2025.
Let's go. Lulu Kesson from the Greenville News. Appreciate her time today, as we have all year long, and look forward to having her back on the weekly basis into the new year. When we come back, let's talk some National Football League. 8:40, Rashad Beard of the Panther Nation podcast coming by to talk a little bit about the hopeful rebound of the Carolina Cats after their loss to Dallas. 9 o'clock, Hayton Ask Mario with the BetQL Network comes by to give us his thoughts on the NFL, maybe a little college basketball tossed in there as well. 9:20, fight, clap. We hand out some Zoes.
Hey, you're getting there.
That one hurt. I paid for that one. We hand out some Zoes, some end of the year awards for our favorite professional wrestlers, and then who knows what the hell happens to wrap up the 9 o'clock hour. All coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Lights.
All right, guys, quick live, and we're coming right back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. Who's worse, Grandpa Joe or Jenny from Forrest Gump? Oh, Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
Grandpa Joe. And listen, I got a whole argument about why Jenny is not as bad as she's made out to be. She's not great, but she's not as bad as she's made out to be. And I can dive into that. I could do a whole freaking long form TED talk on that. Jenny is not as bad as she's made out to be. A kid and that one awkward scene. That's the one.
They both kind of tie together. Maybe. A lot of speculation that that's not really Forrest. Jenny was Zeus.
Christmas is just around the corner. If you need to give a gift to Keith this Christmas, we've got you covered. Borderlands Comics and Games has been the in-state source for all things.
Although without Jenny, you would have been able to interrupt the Black Panther party.
Sorry for running your Black Panther party.
Magic cards, Dungeons and Dragons, as well as Japanese toys, magazines, comics, video games, and so much more. We are at 410 South Pleasantburg Drive. On Facebook and Instagram. Borderlands Comics and Games. Read, build, play.
Some of it's not my fault.
This is better, right? And except discover.
I guess if I were more precise.
Where I like to shop. Get with the times. And where do we stand on parachute pants?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Staples has amazing deals on everything you need for the holidays, from custom holiday cards and photo kits to laptops and gaming systems, even shipping solutions. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. In-store only offer ends 12/28. Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce. I don't know. So with the magnets, you got a bullseye, and then there's one stuck to the magnet of the other one. Is that like two bullseyes?
I mean, I would count it.
You can choose the topics that matter to you most, whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news. Quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
Hey, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 56.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples store has hot deals at super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options and easy-to-use mobile apps.
Grandpa Joe was a piece of crap. The man sat in that bed for years.
Could have been out providing for the family.
I can't work. I can't do anything to help. Oh, you got a free ticket to go do something awesome? I feel great now. Eat one, Grandpa.
But see,
Joe.
Charlie knew. He knew. He picked him because he knew he would. He knew he was faking. Yeah, Charlie knew. But Charlie couldn't go alone, and his mom had to work all the time.
All right, tell you what, let's do the audio blitzy, huh? Let's have a little fun. Let's take a look at some of the best sound that we have heard over the past couple of days around the landscape of social media. I got a couple of them here. Start with one I played earlier in the show, but I'm going to play it again. There are two clips here of the fact that, you know, I've always said to myself, Rob Brown, you're a gigantic loser.
All right. So when you're calling yourself a loser, do you say Rob Brown?
Yes.
Or do you just call yourself Rob?
No, Rob
Do you
Brown.
call yourself Rob Brown?
Everybody calls me Rob Brown, including me. Yes.
Okay.
I go into places and I'm called Rob Brown. My nephew calls me Rob Brown. He calls me Uncle Rob Brown. All my friends' kids, I'm Uncle Rob Brown. I'm just Rob Brown now. Like, I'm not Rob. I'm not Brown. I'm Rob Brown. It's ROBBROW
You ever
with
think
no
about
space.
throwing the middle name in there just for?
No, why would I break it up? I got a thing going. It's a brand.
Okay.
Everything's
All
about
right.
branding, baby. In two clips in the world of, hey, Rob Brown, you gigantic loser. Turns out NFL quarterbacks are just like you. Like on the story of Michael Penix Jr. when he found out that he was going to be the starting quarterback this weekend for the Atlanta Falcons.
I was actually shopping. I was shopping with my girlfriend. We was at Costco. I was actually getting a hot dog, and whenever I got the call, I wasn't hungry no more. So
A true sign that you're not a star in the NFL, you can actually go to Costco. So people don't know who he is. That's why he was able to go to Costco. Now maybe people might know who he is. Doubt it. But, I mean, good on him and his anonymity.
I mean,
come out and be a good quarterback, then maybe you can't go to Costco anymore.
Or
if you were good enough to beat out an old guy who lost that many games, maybe you couldn't go to Costco anymore.
Come to the realization that the people who go to Costco's are annoying-ass old people. Not all old people are annoying, but the Costco ones are. And dorks like Rob Brown, who are going to leave you alone.
I'm glad you added an addendum to that because
because
you had grouped yourself into that.
You started salivating with let me make Rob look like a butthole again, even though he's not. Hey, here's clip number 2 of maybe Rob is cool. Kyler Murray is the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. You're chuckling. I'm assuming that means you've seen this one already. Because it's really good. Kyler Murray is the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, as we enter the final 3 weeks of the regular season, was being asked about a game having to potentially play outdoors in the cold. Kyler Murray's response was mine.
No, I mean, I've played in cold weather before. It's not, I don't know how cold it's supposed to be.
Like 35.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping you got that. I was moving back just in case.
Yeah. Yep. Kyler Murray was told that it's going to be 35 degrees when he played New England last weekend. And when he was told it was going to be 35 degrees, his answer was a long, deep breath and the word.
I think he's fine because, friction breaks up the cold and breaks up anything. And the way his legs move, I mean, he's like Sonic. He's fine. Doesn't he move like? I mean, I know that name's already been taken.
Listen, I respect your commitment to the Murray is short joke, but
no, I wasn't talking about I was talking about how fast he runs.
The best interpretation of Kyler Murray running has already been made.
Right,
toddler running away with mom's cell phone. Hey, I'll never unsee that. I
was bringing in video games, so I mean, and Sonic 3 just came out today, so
Dicker the kicker.
Who?
That would be Cameron Dicker, a.k.a. Dicker the kicker. Big Dicker energy out there in Las Vegas right now, okay?
Please stop.
That's his name. And he's got charisma.
Dude.
He's got gas. He's got aura.
Come on.
All right?
Just stop.
Cameron Dicker the kicker last year made a promo trying to convince fans to vote him to be the AFC's representative at the place-kicking position in the 2023 NFL Pro Bowl. I forgot what year it was. Well, Dicker the kicker did not get in, didn't get the fan vote. Dicker the kicker said, I'm not giving up. I'm here for more. Now, what I do need you to do is to go find the video of the audio I'm about to play you, because Cameron Dicker the kicker used that big Dicker energy, and he put out another promo asking fans to vote him to the Pro Bowl.
Have you ever wanted to make the Pro Bowl but the fans didn't vote for you? And as a result, you lost your lawyer job and now you're selling used cars at super slash prices? Me neither. My name's Cameron Dicker and I'm still kicking for you. We've got kicks that can handle your toughest drive.
Knocks it through. How elite is this guy?
Check under this hood. If this leg's got horsepower. Don't let these other dealers doink you.
Kick is off the upright again.
Hits the upright. Who's got better kicks than me? Hold those deals down.
Don't put on these deals. They'll be gone in a second.
Don't believe me? Ask this satisfied customer.
This is my Quantum Store voter coach from Cam Dicker. It's done me right.
So go to Chargers.com/vote and send me and my leg to kick for you. And I will not stop making these until you do. Yeehaw!
All right, it's very Beetlejuice-esque. I cannot wait to watch that video now.
It's hysterical. So he's on, and he's got a cowboy hat and a big wig, and he's pretending to be like a Texas-based used car salesman. and he's selling his leg, right? And by the way, the Chargers social media team is hands down, no questions asked, the best in the game. It's the best. It's the best in the game. They're amazing. They were the ones a couple of years ago, Lonzo, when the NFL did its schedule release. They're the ones that did a whole ass anime movie.
It was really good.
It was incredible.
It
was incredible. Down to and including when they got to the Bears, who were having some issues with a player or two who had been gambling on the team and got kicked off the team. They were doing all these anime skits until they got to the Bears, and literally for the Bears, they put up if you're having gambling troubles, call this number advertisement. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Dicker the Kicker is spectacular. So in this ad, he's like dressed up as a Texas used car salesman. And like when he says, look under this hood, he pulls up his pants to show his calf muscle. He's like, this leg's got horsepower. And then he apparently is the one who gifted Harbaugh the Winnebago that Harbaugh lived in when he got to LA. So he's like, take a look at this satisfied customer. And it's literally his head coach, literally giving a tour of the literal Winnebago he literally got from Cam Dicker. And he's like, got it from Cam Dicker. It's great, dude. It's hysterical.
Yeah, so literally is a word that's being used so much.
Because these things are all literal.
No, I'm saying it's really popular now. My 6-year-old granddaughter says literally all the time.
Yeah, it got big in the YouTube world for a minute. And it's kind of infuriating. All right, one more before I go. Mauricio Pochettino is the new manager of the United States men's national team.
National team for what?
Soccer.
Okay.
His name's Mauricio Pochettino. What do you think?
Squash.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of your Dallas Cowboys, Mauricio Pochettino.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I don't disagree. Anyway, we're starting to get a we're starting to get a look into the locker room of the U.S. men's national team under Mauricio.
First, we need to respect ourselves. We cannot go there and say 3-0. Okay, tingy, okay, no problem. Because if they concede, we concede. No, we don't concede. We cannot concede. We need to go there and kill and play and do our show. If I am tired, okay, we have players, okay, on the bench that can be a real impact and desperate to play. But please, we need to go press all together. And when you are tired, say, hey, coach, I cannot more. But not go there and say, spend 45 minutes, play easy. And enjoy being serious. We need to score the 4, the 5, and the 6. That is in the way that we need to respect and grow and to respect the opponent. Okay.
Through a wall. I'm ready to run through a wall. We do not concede. We're going to score 3 and 4 and 5. And when you're tired, I got guys that are going to come out there, but you don't go out there and play easy. You go out there and enjoy whooping that ass.
See, all I hear is, I see you, John Cena.
First off, he's Argentinian, not Italian. Second off, I'd run through a wall for that guy. I am all in on Mauricio. Perhaps in line to become the greatest Argentinian American of all time. LFG. To break. When we come back, Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us to talk a little Carolina Panther football here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got to step away one more time to get Rashad up in here. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll BRB.
Chainsaw?
No, I picked it because I wanted to try a new flavor because you never know when you're when you're going to stumble into something you love.
Rashad, mango chainsaw. Would you try that?
Nah.
Me neither.
I'm a liquid death guy now. That's my new water of choice.
Okay, yeah.
Liquid death guy now. And they've started making like carbonated flavors. So I got like a cherry and a lime or whatever. So I tried a new one today, mango, and it's called Mango Chainsaw. And I can't like Rashad, it's like they took sparkling water and they like showed it to the flavor, but then bottled it and didn't actually put any. Like it's just I can't decide if I like it or not because like you can tell the flavors in there.
Does it
but
not
you can't
taste
really
like the can? Water in a can just doesn't.
No, they do a real good job. Like their straight bottled or their straight canned water is actually my favorite water right now.
Okay.
Which is
didn't expect to have this conversation.
It's a weird thing to
Rashad?
say you have a favorite water.
Not at all. Not at
You know
all.
what I'm talking about. What's the go-to beverage when the Panther Nation podcast is doing on a 4-hour marathon? What's in the cooler?
Water. Regular water.
Dasani guy, you an Aquafina guy, I bet you're a Fiji guy.
And maybe it's tap water. They may have good water up there.
I don't even care. Yo, I'm not a water snob. It's just
Yeah,
whatever.
there you go.
Oh God, here
Bro,
we go.
It's just water at the end of the day, man.
I don't think Rob knows how to do anything without it being snobbish. So I mean,
You're telling me that different waters
Sounds
don't
like
have
it,
different
right?
flavors.
Yeah.
You're telling me you believe different waters don't have different flavors.
No, they do. They
Thank
do
you.
taste different, but
Thank you.
it's not that serious to me.
it has to do with fluoride and stuff like that.
Yeah, for
so-
sure.
No, it does not have to do with fluoride. You people in your fluoride BS need to stop. That's not a
It's
thing.
in there. It's in there, man.
I'm not
in
saying
there.
it's not in
It's on
there.
the
I'm
label.
saying this whole it's killing people is bull crap. There's
okay.
such a low amount in fluoride in any tap water. It's ridiculous. And we're making policy decisions
I'm glad
about
you're
it.
the fluoride expert. I mean, didn't know.
Yeah,
what-
I've read the studies. Have you? No. We're all listening to Brainworm Boy.
This is my life. I say the wrong thing and it triggers that.
I tell you, I'm passionate about life.
And water, apparently.
And water. At 8:40 on Thursdays, we take us a little trip right up the road to Charlotte, North Carolina. We welcome in one half of the Panther Nation podcast. My dog, Rashad Beard, stopping by to talk a little football with us. What's up, big fella? How we doing setting up for Christmas, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Things are well. Man, all is well. No complaints. My tree's been up since October, so I've been in the mood.
October.
Right
At
after
the
Halloween.
least, tell me like October 31st, not like the 15th.
Yeah. No, right after Halloween.
All right,
What's
I
up?
can live with like November. I still think it's blatant disrespect to Thanksgiving, Rashad.
All due respect to Thanksgiving, but
Well, what are you supposed to put up for Thanksgiving? Like pumpkin leaves?
Nothing, but
or
when you put
something?
up the tree, like it's officially Christmas up in this beer. Like we ain't doing like it's like you're just like having Thanksgiving in the Christmas background.
Rob, we all need a little Christmas, just a little Christmas.
I don't
for
disagree.
sure.
But can we do it, I don't know, at Christmas? Like when I go into freaking shopping malls in October 1st and there's Christmas stuff up. Can we breathe for a minute, people?
No, we can't. You got to get in the spirit, man.
I'm always in the spirit. Rashad. Rashad Beard drops by to talk
You're
some
in the
Panther football with us.
spirits. That's a problem.
I mean, listen, I'm off next week. I will be. Come at me, bro. Rashad, let's start with the easy one, dude. With the what the hell, man? What was that?
Yeah, major letdown, man. Major letdown on Sunday. Was not expecting that. We got caught off guard. I think we got outcoached in all phases of the game. We could talk about individual play and how that didn't lend well to a victory, but at the end of the day, it was top down, just a deplorable game. We got outcoached, and it was surprising. I went into this game wanted to see how we would fare as favorites. That's something we haven't been favored in like 3 years. I wanted to see how we would fare, and it was important to see, and it didn't work out too well. Now, hopefully, moving forward, we know how to act once we're favored. But yeah, it wasn't a good look. We got smacked, man.
The silver lining is you're in a position where you feel disappointment after that and not go, oh, it's another Panther Sunday afternoon. Like you're in a position to actually feel disappointed because it felt like things were going in the right direction. The bad news is you're disappointed. You came in as a 2-point favorite. You got smoked by 16 points. You keep saying we got out-coached. If I asked you to give me an example or two of what you mean by that, what would you lean on?
Well, I'd start defensively, man. I don't know how CeeDee Lamb ends up one-on-one with Jordan Fuller multiple times on the same drive. Like, we did not adjust at all defensively. They just picked us apart. We still cannot stop the run, and I know it's a personnel issue, but not being able to adjust. I mean, you've got like 4 back-to-back rushers with 150 plus or close to 150 yards on us on the ground. So we're just getting out-coached. Offensively, I feel like we got away from the run way too soon. Even Micah Parsons will tell you that. Micah Parsons is like, man, if you look at their defense, their run defense is almost as bad as our run defense. And we only ran the ball with Chuba like 10, 15 times or something like that. So it's just no out-coached across the board. We got dictated to. That we allowed the Dallas Cowboys to tell us what to do on offense and defense, and we just did not adjust, in my opinion. And it's just it's special teams, man. It's all across the board. It's not good football.
No, it was not good football. I do want to start with this, though, and I want to get your thoughts on it. Bryce Young, 19 of 28, 219, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions in this one, and there's been a handful of people. I won't mention any specific names that may or may not be participating in this. Okay, you mentioned the specific name that may or may not be participating in this conversation. A lot of, there's regression, step back. And I'm not arguing that Bryce Young played a great game.
By the way,
I am
real
going to say,
quick, this is the first time we've heard about this game this week.
No, we talked about it. We talked about it on Monday in passing.
Oh, no.
Yes, we did. We talked about it. We talked about it because you said Bryce Young played poorly, and that was the regression. My argument, Rashad Beard, was, and again, I'm going to get hammered for this, and I don't care because I believe it. This, to me, felt like everything around him fell apart. What the hell do you expect out of the guy?
There was a bit of that. I think that, again, when you talk about coaching, right? How does Micah Parsons end up one-on-one multiple times with Icky with no chip? There's no chip. There's no help there. So you're just setting him up. I mean, you're really just allowing the Dallas Cowboys to pin their ears back and get after him, and it doesn't help. And mind you, Bryce absolutely played a part. His hand is all the way in this L too, right? He had 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. So he can't dodge any blame in this. He has a part into it. But at the same time, there are some coaching mistakes where he was not put in a position to succeed. Offensive line did not help at all. You've got the weapons not quite there. Coker is our guy. Obviously, 83-yard touchdown. That's great. I tried to tell you guys about him way back in training camp. He appears to be our best wide receiver outside of Adam Thielen, of course. But things are we've got to be better. Everybody's got to be better. I think there's plenty of blame to go around, including Bryce Young in this L.
I think that's fair. I do want to point out, my thought is not, it's everybody else's fault but Bryce Young. My thought is, it's everybody's fault. And the more it's everybody's fault, the harder it's going to be for any quarterback to succeed. Nonetheless, a second-year guy who's really only found his stride the last couple of weeks. Talk to me about the run game. 16 rushing efforts in this game for 60 yards. On the flip side, and again, a lot of it has to do with you're not moving the ball. You get less opportunities to get snaps off. Carolina threw 28 times, ran 16 on the flip side. Dallas passed more times with 29, but they also ran the ball 40 times in this game. Look, dude, if you're not running the ball, and certainly if you're not having success running the ball, you're going to give the other team extra possessions, extra plays to take advantage, and Dallas certainly did that. What do you think there was any rationale behind that, or you were down 10-7 at the half. It wasn't like you had a big hole to climb out of, right?
Right. That's exactly right. There is no rationale behind. That's what's so frustrating is that when you see the number 32 ranking behind somebody's run defense, then you're going to run the ball 40 times. You know what the Dallas Cowboys ranking is? 31, and we ran the ball 15 times. So it just doesn't make sense as to why we did not run the football 20, 30 times minimum, right? And so it's frustrating because all we heard was from Canales was, hey, you're gonna be frustrated with how committed to the run we are, and we just haven't seen it, especially when you're supposed to be running the football on a poor run defense. We just didn't do it. We got out coached, and that's why you go back to the conversations about coaching and Canales. Listen, he just didn't have a good coaching game, right? And it happens, right? He's allowed to have a bad game, just like everybody else did, and we were due for one, right? We've been playing pretty well for the most part the past 3, 4, 5, 6 games, whatever. And we were due for a letdown, and it just happened to happen when we were favored. So it's unfortunate. But yeah, everybody's to blame in this L for sure.
Yeah, I think the problem you run into is there is a double-edged sword on this one, Rashad, which is on one hand, the talking heads around the country are going, oh, look at that. Carolina finally gets the spotlight on a little bit, and they FA'd and then they FO'd against the Dallas Cowboys. On the flip side, I look at it and go, I am always looking, what's the teachable moment? What's the lesson we can take away from this? Well, that's the first time in 2 years that Carolina came in favored in a football contest. Now you know what it's like. Now you know what it's like to have a team across from you that is fighting as the dog. Now you know what it's like to be in that position. And sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth to learn what it feels like to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree with that. And I think what it really boils down to is this team, I think they started feeling themselves a little bit. Even though we're not getting the W's, I think they started to think that, hey, man, like, look, we're favored. The national media starting to talk about how good Bryce is now, and things are going well with this team. Even though we're losing, the vibes are up, right? There's an energy there because we know we're getting better. And I felt like the team bought into that. And I felt like and that goes back to coaching. I really wanted to see how this team was going to react with that, with all that in mind. And they just came out flat. And so that, like you said, that is a teachable moment that they need to get back. And listen, we can't do that again. We saw what happened last time. We were favored. We got smacked, and we got to learn from it. And so hopefully that's the case. And again, we've got to take these small things, and hopefully next season when we are favored and things are in our favor, we do better and come out way more ready than we did this game.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this weekend's contest. The good news for Carolina, if there is any, is that you're back at the crib this weekend. You get a back-to-back home stand. The next one up against a 500 Arizona Cardinal team that, let's be very clear, they're a mid-team, but they're a mid-team. They got a good running game in James Conner. He's going to cross 1,000 yards on the season this weekend. He only needs like 27 to get there. Kyler Murray has been looking better game by game, week by week. This is a good Arizona team. It's not a great team. It's a good team. Carolina comes into this game as a 4.5-point dog at the house. And I'm going to fall back to Rashad Beard. I think I agree with you. I think the team started reading its own press clippings, started believing its own hype a little bit. You got punched in the face. I'm going to go back to take the expectation of win and loss off the table. And let's set the expectation of, do we fight? Do we execute? Do we stay disciplined? And do we give ourselves a chance to be a better football team? That's what I'm going for in this game. What are you looking for? What do you want?
Yeah, I mean, you got to put up some good film at this point, man. You got a lot of people who are their jobs are on the line. If you look at this roster, there's a lot of guys that may or may not be in the league next year. So you've got to put up some good film. And I think everybody they got to go out there and prove it, right? We're not favored to win this game. I think the Cardinals are playing for a potential playoff spot and potentially win a division. So they're gonna be hungry. So we gotta pull up. We gotta pull up with our best shot. And I hope that's the case. I think we've got a lot to play for individually, and hopefully Canales got a lot to coach for. We've got to start to put together some sort of a semblance of, hey, we can do this next season, right? And we started doing that. We started doing that up into the Dallas game. We just got to get back on track. It's not about wins or losses, like you said. I think for the team, it's just about, and I know this may or may not be good for the listeners, but we need some moral victories. We need something. If we're not going to get the actual W, we need a moral W. And I know cliche, we don't take moral victories, but as a Panthers fan, I'd take it. I'll take it right now. I need something. Right. And so, again, we were getting those moral victories in the games prior to the Dallas game. Let's get more of that. Let's get back on track. Even though we've been gutted with injuries across the board, there's a lot of things going bad with this team. But we need to get back on track for sure.
All right. Moral victory. This is a conversation Lonzo and I have had a 1,000 times on this radio program. I absolutely do believe moral victories exist. I think when you can take away that we improved here, we got better there, we cleaned this up, whatever, even if you lose the game, if you can show me progress moving forward, that's it. It's hard to benchmark that, though, right? Because they're subjective, what a moral victory is. So if I asked you to be objective about what you're going to say, we walk away from Sunday, even in an L, and go, I saw this. Is it better coaching? Is it more cognizant play calling? Is it more out of Chuba, more out of the offensive line? Like, what 2 or 3 things are the most important for you to see improvement in on Sunday?
Yeah, number one, I want to see Bryce Young, how he bounced back, right? He got benched, bounced back from that very, very well. Had a bad game. How is he going to react? Is he going to go back into the pre-benching mode, or is he going to turn up like he did the past couple of games, right? So I want to see him and how he reacts. That's number one. Number two, I've got to see improvement from Canals from a coaching and situational play calling standpoint. It has not been really good. He improved in the one game in the red zone play calling against Philly, did a great job there. He tends to bounce back a little bit when he has an off game. So I do expect him to have a better play calling situation in this game. Defensively, man, it's tough because we're depleted there. But I would like to see some improvement from the run stopping perspective. Like I would like to see us hold James Conner under 100 yards. That'd be a great start. Just to stop him for under 100 yards, and that would constitute as a moral victory. And I think that's darn near my Super Bowl at this point. If you can hold a rusher under 100 yards, that would be fantastic. I'm going to the chip off of that. So please, let's do that. And those are three things that I have for my moral victories going into Sunday.
I was like riding with you real hard until you got to keep a back under 100 is my Super Bowl now. Wow.
I mean, I got to be honest. It's the truth. We haven't been able to do it.
I don't disagree, but like we do at least a little bit chalk that up to the reality of you got a banged up defense. Like next year, I don't think it's as much of a problem, right?
Yeah, but come on, man, you got to at least try. Like it's tough. I mean, you got an opposite. You're sitting opposite of this team, and this running back is licking their chops because they know I'm getting at least $150, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like you got to show some sort of respect. Like we got to man up. So it's
I can
time.
respect it. I can respect that. Rashad Beard hosts the Panther Nation podcast. You can follow them on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. But more importantly, head over to YouTube, go search and subscribe to the Panther Nation podcast. Hit that bell so you know when they're going live, which is like all the damn time. Rashad, my man, as always, brother, appreciate you. We'll be out next week. So have a tremendous, tremendous Christmas, and we'll get back with you the week after that in the new year, pal.
Same to you guys, man. See you next year. Good times.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Oh, I just want to say Merry Christmas, but you spoke for both of us.
Yeah,
so I mean, as usual.
We're kind and generous on this show.
Yeah, that's us.
See you in a couple weeks, big fella. Appreciate you.
All right, see you guys.
Rashad Beard, Panther Nation podcast. Again, make sure you check them out on YouTube. Get searched up, get subscribed up, hit that bell, and let the boys know that you got their back. When we come back, Mario Heron, a.k.a. Hating Ass Mario from the BetQL Network, joins us, and I've been informed he has a little surprise for the great one. I'm intrigued to see what that's all about.
It's probably the haircut.
Think about
probably the haircut. Yeah, that's probably what it is. We'll see.
We'll see after Lonzo blows you away with his sports flash. I'm depressed now.
I probably will be here in a little bit. I'm sure it's fresh though, or whatever the kids say. Days after being cut.
The sounder first?
No.
Oh,
Days after being cut, former Chiefs run. Yeah, I probably should use. Yeah, you're right. Whatever. Well, I had the wrong one, so it doesn't matter. Days after being cut, former Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire has signed with the New Orleans Saints, although he was named to the practice squad. Current Saints starter Alvin Kamara's status this weekend at Green Bay is in question due to a groin injury, meaning Edwards-Helaire could be on the active roster Sunday. Gamecocks standout defensive end and Bronco Nagurski Trophy winner Kyle Kennard has opted out of the Citrus Bowl. The 6'5", 254 edge rusher led the SEC in tackles for loss and sacks and will sit out the bowl to prepare for the NFL draft. Tune in Saturday at 2:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Harvard Crimson. It's Furman versus Harvard right here on your home for Furman Paladins basketball. The Fan, Upstate. Hey, in the end, it's either the deterioration of what is me or it's what Rob has dubbed senioritis, which is, hey, we're almost on vacation. And no one would have noticed, including me, if Rob hadn't pointed it out. All because I disparaged his Favorite player. As I just said, no one would have noticed that I had the wrong bet in there if you hadn't pointed it out.
My brain was.
So he's keeping his video. Look, he's keeping it blank on purpose.
Hi there, Ghost of Mario.
What's up, fellas? Sorry, I'm getting.
How we doing, buddy?
I didn't think you guys would want to see my chest and my lack of chest hair.
Did you see the John Gruden, Andy Reid story?
No.
Okay, I'll play it in the last segment.
Did you see the athletic story today?
Mm-mm.
The Woody Johnson?
No. Go to find that immediately.
It's a tough go. He didn't trade for Jared Judy because of a Madden rating.
What? That's very 2024, isn't
Diana
it?
Rossini said Woody Johnson nixed to trade for Jared Judy last offseason because he felt his Madden rating was too low. An excerpt from The Athletic. Douglas told the Broncos that Johnson didn't want to make a trade because the owner felt Judy's player rating in Madden NFL, the popular video game, wasn't high enough. Wow.
You know, as a video gaming playing grandpa myself, Woody Johnson don't play no video games. Have you seen what? There ain't no way Woody Johnson's playing video games.
No, somebody was in his ear, but
Yeah,
the fact that he
there's
let
no
someone
way.
convince him not to trade for a guy who is balling out with a rookie quarterback right now for a Madden rating is certifiably bat bleep insane. I'm almost willing to let Aaron Rodgers off the hook and blame it on Woody Johnson. Almost. Although the latest episode of the Aaron Rodgers documentary did do a scene with him high on ayahuasca, and it's hilarious. The dude is tripping you-know-whats. I can say it on the stream. If Chuck Barkley can say it on TV, I can say it on the radio, right? Isn't that how the rules work? Mario! Oh! He's an 80s surfer kid now!
I told you he was hiding the video on purpose.
Mario!
Dude. And then there was one. I'm alone again. I'm alone again. It's all right.
For those of you not watching the stream, which is you're missing out, facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. The lovely Mario Herron, aka Hating Ass Mario, today, aka Lonzo's gonna be hating ass on Mario. Mario is locked off the luscious locks of love.
Bill and Ted.
Oh,
Bill and Ted.
Oh,
look.
That's not.
Look, he looks like a young Alex Winter. I don't know if he knows who that is. Have you ever watched?
I
Bill
have no idea who that is.
You've never watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? Well, there's Keanu Reeves and the guy who plays next to him. It's Bill and Ted. Yeah, I consider it a compliment. You don't see it?
No, don't you worry. I'm pulling it up on the stream right now. I'm pulling it up right now.
Can you put your arms up like this and say "be excellent" to each other?
I don't know about that one. I've gotten a lot of comparisons lately. So there's Josh Giddey I got, which that one hurt.
Yeah, it should.
No
There it is.
chance, dude.
There it
No
is.
chance, dude. No chance.
I like that he said, dude.
Which
No
works out
way.
perfect. That also works. You're
Oh,
talking
man.
just like him now.
Oh,
No
man.
way.
And the comments on the stream are like, yep, nailed it. That's spectacular.
That
Mario,
hurts.
just one question.
Yeah, you're not one of us anymore. That means you're fair game. I'm sorry.
Quick question. Why?
So I had a wedding, and at the wedding, it was a big thing. Like people were like, oh, why didn't you cut your hair? Why didn't you cut your hair? And I was like, I just didn't want to. And then I just had like a realization. I was like, maybe it's time to just change it up. I'm 26 now, you know.
Oh God, he's falling apart, Lonzo. He's 26 years old.
Well,
I
he's
was just
also
like,
in the new area. You know, I mean, I get it.
And I've had long hair for a long time, and I was like, let's just change it up and let's see what happens. That was my whole thing. Like, let's see what happens. I did a lot of research on the hairstylist. I did a lot of research on what to do with it. I texted probably up to like 25 people to get their respective thoughts. And then I went ahead and did it yesterday.
Can we talk, Lonzo, about the one Jerry curl
The
coming
curl,
down
the
in the
curl
front?
is, yeah. That's
was that a choice, Mario?
Superman, Justin Timberlake type thing. Yeah, for sure.
You going 1980s Christopher Reeves on us on purpose?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. If you think I know how to style my hair yet, you got another thing coming. I have no idea what I'm doing. I told the lady when she was doing it yesterday. First off, I apologized multiple times because every time she would cut, I go, wow, that's a lot. And I was just like, I was like freaking out a little bit. But I told her, like, hey, I don't know how to style my hair. Like, I really don't. That's why I kept it long so I could, like, put it up if it looks bad. So, like, I'm going to have to go note by note on what you're doing here. And I wrote note by note. And then this morning, I was just like, and she told me, she goes, it doesn't matter what you do. Just put this gel in it and just slick it back. And it's going to fall into place and you'll be fine. So I did that this morning. And I had no idea that I was going to look like Christopher Reeves from Superman right now. But I guess you got to eat. You got to eat, roll with the punches.
I just got to say your hair is excellent.
Dude.
Thank you.
Dude.
Have you been to the Circle K lately?
I don't understand these references.
Yeah, we know.
There's definitely something afoot there. So, I mean, how do you feel about
but it doesn't
booths?
look bad, though, right?
Well, no, it looks good. It looks good. And here's the thing. As far as long hair goes, you can always go back to it. You know what your look is that way. So if you feel like you don't like this, you just let it grow back out. I get it.
Exactly.
Wait a minute. James came up with an absolute killer one. Wait.
He won't get this reference either.
God, I know he won't. But we do, and we will, and that's all I care about. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest American hero.
God, that hurts.
Oh, it's so good. All right, we can't listen. I could spend 9 more minutes blasting out Ellen DeGeneres of sports talk radio over here.
Don't do that. Come on.
Ellen hurt really bad.
That was too far.
That one cut.
Mario Heron, a Hate and Ask Mario of the BetQL Network. He is the executive producer of BetMGM Tonight, which you can hear on this station and find Odyssey stations everywhere, every weekday night from 7 till 11 p.m. right after Wire to Wire here on the Fan Upstate. Let's jump in, and I'm actually going to start not in the NFL, Hate and Ask Mario. I'm going to start over in the NBA, and there's 2 things I want to talk about. Number 1, do you care about / enjoy the NBA Cup? And if so, what do you think it meant to the Milwaukee Bucks?
So I would first like to say, I think it's kind of unfair how hard it's gotten killed, I guess, the past couple of weeks. Like, do you remember this time last year when we had the in-season tournament? It wasn't called the Cup yet. We praised it. Everyone loved it. Everyone loved the courts. Everyone loved that the Pacers and Bucks. Okay. You get what I mean. But it was praised more. It was, because you had a rivalry born between the Bucks and the Pacers. The Pacers seemed like this was a team that was, on the cusp of something great to go to the Eastern Conference Finals later in the season. And it felt like it was connected, right? And then this year, we tear it apart. And I think a little bit that has to do with it is this is also the first year of the college football 12-team playoffs. And this is I would argue one of those random times in the sport where it is truly anyone's game. If you talk about the college football playoff, you can make an argument for almost every team in there that they can win the championship, right? No one really knows who's going to win it. There's no team that stands above all. There's no undefeated team. We don't know who's going to, take home the trophy. That doesn't help the NBA. It doesn't help that your, guy that people touted for MVP literally is out for 1 week this week because he has a sinus fracture. And that's true, ladies and gentlemen. He has a sinus infection and he can't play. Just going to leave it at that.
Sir, somebody said a sinus infection before. It is debilitating. You can make fun of it all you want. All you're telling me is you haven't had one before because they wreck you.
I've had it. I played it. I still played my lacrosse game. That's all I'm going to say. And it was really, really cold. I still played.
Oh, you played
You can't hear my stare on the radio.
No, listen, Lonzo's giving me the death eyes right now because
Come on, dude.
I don't know what to tell you. There's a little difference between sitting in the chair and talking about football and showing up to an NBA game, pal.
I played football in Ohio. I always had a sinus infection.
Good point. If you were up in the Midwest, you had a sinus infection 24 hours a day during the winter.
That is
You
how
just
hours
roll with
work.
it.
Mario Heron from the BetQL Network. All right, second question about the NBA. How much are you making out of this NBA rating story that's going around? Like, on one hand, you had it from Clay Travis, a sports talker who notably dislikes the NBA and makes no secret about that. On the other hand, the numbers are the numbers and the ratings are down without a doubt. I have said, Mario, I think there's two reasons for it. Number one, I don't think the NBA is doing a good enough job of balancing promotion between stars and teams. Number two, I think the lack of player loyalty to teams makes it real hard for fans to stay loyal to a team. The second big reason I chalk it up to, and even Adam Silver has talked about this, is I got games where teams are combining for 53-point efforts plus. I got teams, I got a game the other day where the teams knocked down 48 three-pointers, which means they had to take about 90 to get to that number. Man, when the game has devolved into dribble it around and then somebody puts up a timeline shot, like, it's kind of difficult to say I'm excited about it. Do you make anything out of this story? And if so, does the NBA need to be working on a fix?
Something does have to change. The three-pointers I completely get. It doesn't help that the best team in the NBA and the Boston Celtics love to shoot them. Right? Like, if you watch the Boston Celtics, they will live and die by the three, and they have no problem doing it. So that doesn't help, and you kind of try to copy the team that's up top. You see that in every single sport. So it's a fix, but it's a hard one to do, and it's a hard one to adjust to. I think the other thing, a part of this too, Rob, and we've seen dips all the time in NBA ratings, and I think a part of it is when the best player in the league is very hard to market, it's very hard to be successful. LeBron's not the best player in the league anymore. Steph Curry's not the best player in the league anymore. Those are two very easable, marketable guys. Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. And love Jokic, but not really like an outgoing personality. Doesn't love being in the media. Would really prefer if you left him alone. And that's hard to market. That's hard to sell. That's hard to sell to people to get you to come there. He's not going to, is he funny? Yeah, he is. But he's not going to be funny when there's room full of reporters around him. He's not going to do that. He's going to be funny when it's just you and him in a room. That's kind of hard to do. When the dip happened, way back in the day, before Bird and Magic came, I remember watching this documentary, and the thing that they talk about in depth is, like, the problem was Kareem was the best player in the league, and Kareem was very hard to market for. He didn't like talking to the media. When he did, he was kind of, mean to him. He had takes, outside of that stuff, but he kept to himself. And when your best player in the world keeps to himself, how do you build a brand? Hard to do. On top of this, I think, Rob, and you can attest to it because you're a Pelicans fan, I think they really invested in the group of Ben Simmons, Zion Williamson, John Morant, and Lonzo Ball. And all four of those guys, in the simplest terms, were kind of misses in building, the next generation, if you will. Zion's hurt a lot. Lonzo didn't play for 2 years. John Morant's had his off-court issues where no team's going to jump at a sponsorship deal right now with John Morant. And the NBA is not going to, put him on a poster to promote something. It's going to take a little bit. And then Ben Simmons just never got better. When you put that much money in those four guys, it's hard to. And we're also in a transition phase of finding that next generation. We'll get there. Anthony Edwards will get us there. That's what I've been saying. But it's a weird time.
Hey, Nas Mario from the BetQL Network. All right, let's jump over to the NFL here for just a minute or two before we let you go. The Detroit Lions have 22 players on the injured reserve right now, and it is being talked about. It has to. Dan Campbell was on our sister station 97.1 The Game the other day talking a little bit about the injury bug and saying, look, we got a bunch of guys over there. We got a bunch of dogs. We're going to plug and play. Next man up, yada, yada, yada. And I appreciate all of that. But at the end of the day, the next man is the next man because he ain't as good as the first man. You're not going to tell me you're dropping 22 guys. You're not telling me that I believe 7 out of your 11 opening day starters aren't playing right now, and you're somehow going to be just as good. Are the Lions screwed until they get a bunch of these guys back? Is the quest for the 1 seed over?
If they didn't lose to the Bills this week and played someone else, would we still be this worried? Right? That's my kind of question. Because it didn't seem like it was that big of an issue. It just seemed like, oh, it's always the next man up. They're going to be fine. Their lines, they can roll through anything. They lose to the Bills, and Bills kind of roll through their defense. And then we suddenly all have questions. I kind of have questions about like that Bills defense, man. I watched that game going, God, this Bills defense really, really hurts them in certain spots. And I left more going, all right, I understand that the Lions have a lot of injuries and they just lose guys constantly, but Dan Campbell has these guys rolling. They have the best coordinators in the NFL. Very dangerous offense. And who in the NFC do you really trust? Do you trust the Eagles? I know Ryan Horvath, love him to death like a brother. He preaches to me about the Eagles all the time. I'm not going to buy in it. I'm not going to buy in it yet. I'm all set. I'm not going to do that. And then I look this week, Rob, and I see the Lions are -6.5 against the Chicago Bears, where half that team has given up. Where Jalen Johnson, who's the team captain, they couldn't get him a C to put on his chest on Monday Night freaking Football. Are you kidding me? Like, I bet that multiple times this week. I'm probably going to bet it again if it still doesn't move. Lions 6.5 against that sad team, a Bears secondary that's given up 30 more yards than they usually do in the last 3 games. That, and also in that last 3 games, they've given up the second most rushing yards. Whew. Okay. Thanks for the free gift, BetMGM and every sports book. I'll take the Lions 6.5. I'll run it to the bank and buy my niece a Christmas present.
Probably buy yourself some new hair product while you're at it.
Yep, I knew that was coming. As soon as I said it, I just teed it up for you, and you just hit it.
Layup, baby. Yep. Layup. Hey, Nas Mario from the BetQL Network here on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate. Over on the other side, in the AFC, number one, like we all just acknowledged Josh Allen's the MVP this year, right? Like that hunt's over.
It's not a debate. Yeah, it's not a debate. I understand the Lamar talk. Like, I understand that there's an argument for him, but like Josh Allen's his team. And by the way, how many people were saying that the Buffalo Bills are going to take a dip this year because that receiving, Diggs is gone, Gabe's up. Yeah, me too.
I'll own it.
Can I please delete the film on that? A lot of guys missing, and he just continues to perform and be better every single week. And he cut down the picks too, and that's all we complain about with Josh Allen. Turns over the ball too much, too carefree with the football. That's gone now, and I hope you guys are happy because you just made him into a monster.
Hasn't proven anything yet. There's a place where he cannot win, and we'll see what happens.
In the playoffs, he can't.
Right. I wasn't talking about a specific place because he's lost to other teams other than Kansas City. And chances are, you never know, we may have to go through Baltimore to get to Kansas City.
Mario?
I would be fine with going to Baltimore against that secondary if I'm Josh Allen.
As much as people try to make it seem this way, wins and losses aren't a quarterback stat. That's a team stat. Always have been, always has been, always has been, always will be.
Always will be.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. God knows ball. This guy knows ball over here. Hey, Nas Mario Herron from the BetQL Network. He is the executive.
Oh, wait, you were talking about you. I thought you were giving him a compliment.
Oh, no, I was giving Mario a compliment there.
Why didn't you say his name?
It's Christmas time. I was nodding at him. It's Christmas time. My gift to Mario is one compliment on the radio.
Can I say a hot take about Christmas?
Oh, hell yeah.
Christmas food runs circles around Thanksgiving food.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna jump on you yet. The traditional Christmas fare that makes you say this is what? Because if you're one of these people, it's going to be like, my mom cooks a home cooked lasagna or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, that's obviously going to beat the hell out of a turkey.
Lasagna.
I'm not. I'm not.
I'm
not. What I'm saying is people who have that take usually have like my 92-year-old Italian Nana who makes like an old country recipe. That's like, yeah, nobody's ever beating that with anything. Certainly a turkey, but like what traditional fare are you putting up against a solid Thanksgiving spread?
You mentioned Italian, 7 fishes.
Okay.
So hard to beat 7 fishes with chicken cutlets, Italian sausage.
Ball game.
Tackling it.
Right, but like, again, that's fine, Mario. My family is Irish. We have like every different spread of potato. That's not a traditional Christmas fare.
There is no traditional Christmas fare.
I think that's my take, right? Like,
because people eat turkey because they got a free turkey at Thanksgiving and they don't want it to go to waste, so they just make turkey again.
I think your take is
turkey's
fine.
Not good. Turkey's not that good.
Yeah, your turkey's being cooked bad. Your turkey's being cooked poorly. Come on, listen. Next year, Thanksgiving, you come on. Listen to me. Next Thanksgiving, you
Listen
come
to
on
me.
down to the upstate of Greenville, South Carolina. Let me make you a turkey, a Cajun fried turkey, and I will change your entire life with that turkey. I promise you right now. Here's the thing about the Christmas fair. I'm not even saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
The thing about the Christmas fair is there is no traditional Christmas food. Every family makes their family's thing. So, of course, you're going to think that's the best. It's the same reason why if you don't go home for Christmas, you're like, oh, I miss Christmas dinner. Yeah, because it's what your thing is. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, of course, your family's go-to is going to be what you think is the
like
best.
He's saying you're wrong. It's all in the tone.
Are
I'm not saying you're wrong, but
are you defending the short-haired producer?
Listen, I know I cracked up. Me and him are always on the same side. Yeah, that's just how that works.
So it's not a brotherhood of hair. It's just a brotherhood of not
No.
Rob.
Okay, can I point something out here?
There is a brotherhood of not
hair.
Rob.
I still have long hair.
You don't have a long hair, bud. You have welcomed yourself to a medium haircut. You don't.
All right. Is it does it go beyond the collar?
No.
Barely does.
I can see it.
When I showered this morning, it was the craziest feeling I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah, it is. It's a difficult thing. And when you use too much shampoo because you're used to having to use a bunch because you have more hair. Yeah, it's
we
difficult.
are going to end the interview as Mario has begun talking about his feelings in the shower, and that feels like as good a place of any to walk it off. Mario Heron, a.k.a. Hating Ass Mario from the BetQL Network. You can hear him on BetMGM tonight every weekday from 7 to 11 on this and find Odyssey stations everywhere. Stop by and watch them tonight on twitch.tv/BetQL, and let's just pile on the haircut while he's on his own show.
Wait, have they seen it yet? Have they seen it
yet?
So it was yesterday, and like Ryan was walking to the studio. I go, "Oh, what's up, buddy? Like, how we doing?" And he goes,
"Who the hell are you?"
What's up? Yeah, and then he sat down and goes, "Oh, it's Mario." He goes, "Dude, I didn't know who that was for a second." I was like, "Oh yeah," because I forget that I have it cut. And then there's a guy at my Walgreens that always hits on me, and I walked in there and I was checking out, and he told me, he goes, "You still look very good." And I go,
but not as good as you did yesterday, pal.
But yeah, my mom, when I sent her it, she goes,
Did she cry a little bit?
She goes, "Good news is his hair always grows."
Mario, big dog. Listen, have a spectacular Christmas. We're off next week, so we'll catch you in the new year, brother. Thank you very much.
Love you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Take care.
By the way, December 26th, I will be guest hosting BetMGM tonight with Hating Ass Mario. Get the band back together. Hell yeah. Me and Patty B with Hating Ass Mario and his short haircut. See you then, pal.
Medium length.
Okay. Hating Ass Mario. Lonzo and I hand out some Zoe Awards, our end of the year professional wrestling prizes next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Always
nice job at 1990s lesbian.
Dude, I'm trying so hard for 10 minutes to get that curl off my forehead, and I can't do it. I can't tell you. I can't explain this enough. I don't know how to style hair.
I mean, honestly, it for what it is, it looks great for a 1992 teen heartthrob movie.
All right, let me give you a little tip here. I don't know if you want to do it or not. You know those little thin headbands that everyone wears who have long hair? If you have one of those, after you gel, just put it right there. And then when the gel dries to a degree, it will keep that part back there.
Oh, I should have mentioned this on air.
Unless it's unruly. I mean, then.
The other problem I ran into that I completely forgot about, I have a date Friday. And she only knows me as with long hair.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to accidentally catfish her. So I'm trying to let her know, yo, I cut my hair, but I don't know how to do that.
Just make sure you have that one curl coming directly down the front. And do me a favor, wear a white shirt with a carton of cigarettes folded up in the sleeve. All right. And when you walk around, make sure you snap like this when you talk to her.
I should.
Oh, Brian Seltzer. That's another one.
Knock off dollar store Danny Zuko.
Okay. Well,
God, dude, I really wish I knew these. I really wish I did.
You've never heard the song?
Man, Grease.
Okay.
I've
Have you
seen
ever heard
Grease, but I don't know the characters.
Yeah.
Danny Zuko.
Yeah,
John
he's
Travolta from
the head
Grease.
character. Have you ever heard? Have you heard the song "Stray Cat Strut"?
No.
Okay. All right.
Mario, of course he hasn't. Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
Well, I don't know what music he listens to. It is kind of old, but you know.
I can tell you what music he doesn't listen to, which is anything that makes a reference from us.
Okay.
The other one I'll leave with you guys. I got the guy from Dune, Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, which I didn't really love, but I was like,
hey, he's got a new film where he plays Bob Dylan. You know, maybe you look like him playing Bob Dylan. Do you know who Bob Dylan is?
I know who Bob Dylan is.
Okay.
Piano
All
Man.
right. Well, I mean, you know.
Sing us a song, Piano Man.
No, that's.
Oh God! Goodbye, Mario. Goodbye.
Is that
You're
not right?
done. Goodbye.
That's Billy Joel. Oh, you really cut him off. Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean. Of course he was doing that on purpose. There's no way.
No, he was not.
There's
No,
way.
he was not.
Dude, that's us. It's a quote.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I had the chat closed. Piano Man. Good God.
I'm gonna give him credit and say he did it on purpose, but you know.
Your smart speaker. Just say play 97 The Fan Upstate on your HD radio at WFBC HD3. There's just one more thing. And on your computer at thefanupstate.com.
Welcome into the final Fight Club of this year, the year of our Lord 2024. It went by so fast. Rob and I, by the way, been together 4 years now. I don't know if you knew that. Anniversary is right around this time.
Right around. Wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Back in the lead, baby. Woo. He's distraught now. So, yeah.
Oh, I am in trouble now.
It was about four years ago. It was 4 years ago when the trade happened, and the rest is South Carolina Broadcasters Association historical. That's all I'm saying. All right. So as it is the end of the year, why not give out awards, which Rob is calling the Zoes. I don't like it. I don't like it, but
don't care.
You
The
know,
Zoes.
You know, I made it up this morning, and he already like put his stamp on it by.
It's not my stamp. It's your name.
Yeah,
the
but
Zoes.
I would rather it be the Lonzos, but you know, that's just me.
That's not as fun.
Yeah, well, it is for me. It absolutely is for me. All right, just some categories here. I'm guessing that we are going to have a different awards in mind. So Rob's going to hand out what he thinks it is. I'm going to hand out what I think it is. The first award, and I'm going to go first, just so because I want to, is favorite newcomer. I have a tie for favorite newcomer.
That's not how awards work.
Yeah, well, sometimes it does.
I mean, I guess they are named after you.
I
You
said
can do whatever you want.
yeah, my name's on the award, so it's my segment. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. I have two because it was really hard for me to choose. The first one as best newcomer in wrestling, even though these guys have been wrestling for a while, it's just they became aware to a majority of people. First one is Joe Hendry. So, and I believe in Joe Hendry, so I have to talk about Joe Hendry. By the way, number 2 on my Wrapped was Joe Hendry. Disappointed it wasn't number 1. And he is tied with the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu.
I'm gonna go with, and this is interesting because I think that my dude for like a hot minute there may have been the most over professional wrestler on planet Earth, and I have to give it to a man I believe in. I think it has to be Joe Hendry. I don't know who else I could give it to. There are plenty of other. Braun Breaker, if we consider him up and coming into the main roster.
Yeah, but he was on NXT. So if you follow WWE, you probably know NXT.
That's fair. Joe Hendry did not just show up on the scene Joe Hendry took over the scene. You could not go in. Professional NFL teams were sending out Joe Hendry memes. That's how over this guy was. This guy, he crossed out of wrestling and just into pop culture. I don't know how anybody else could have possibly done what he did.
All right, so I do have a little bit of fear of Jacob Fatu, so maybe I added him in for that. But, I mean, he is a guy everyone wants to wrestle. Joe Hendry was out there and on, you're right, transcended wrestling, was all over the place. But Jacob Fatu, dream bookers all over the place. Oh, think if he wrestled this guy. Think if he wrestled this guy. You didn't get that with Joe Hendry. You did get that with Jacob Fatu. The next one is favorite match. It's hard to narrow down for you probably, Rob, but what is your favorite match?
I'm going to tell you right now, and this is one of those times where sometimes the world works in mysterious ways. My favorite match happened last night. My favorite match of the year happened last night. We had some slappers, some bangers. I think, obviously, the WrestleMania main event between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns provided us probably 10 of the most electrifying minutes of wrestling we have ever seen. But you had a bunch of gimmicks in there. You had the gimmicks of The Undertaker and the gimmicks of the Final Boss of The Rock and all that. And that's all fine. That's part of wrestling. What Will Ospreay and Darby, friend of the show, Alan, did last night on AEW was one of the absolute most bat bleep matches I have ever watched in my life. And it ranged everything. It was technical. It was explosive. There was flippies and straight fist. Last night's match between Darby Allin and Will Ospreay may, and I mean this, may be in my top 5 matches of all time.
All right. So the thing about saying favorite match, it's subjective. I mean, when you look at wrestling, are you more into the wrestling? Are you more into the story? Do you need a combination of both? And you have poo-pooed and you've downplayed what my number one is, but that's fine. It's Cody taking down the Bloodline finally. It's a culmination of a story that started a couple years before. And it's not just that. It also came full circle with the Shield. The fact that they were able to work that in. I mean, there's so many storylines that came in there. And the fact that The Undertaker just had knee surgeries and still made it. He was the biggest surprise of the whole thing. And yeah, I don't think you can talk about 2024 without talking about the end of the OG Bloodline.
Oh, I agree entirely. For the record, I'm not poo-pooing that match. I when I say it was gimmicky is great. It's wrestling. It's supposed to be gimmicky, but to me, my value, and it is subjective. You are not wrong for feeling how you feel, just like I'm not for feeling how I feel. I'm not going to bust you up for going with that match. In fact, I would say it's easily inside of my top 3 or 4. But when I want to watch wrestling, I want to watch 2 guys tell a story or 2 gals tell a story in the ring that makes me consistently sitting on the edge of my seat. Like, what is this crazy son of a you-know-what going to do next? And last night we got every bit of that.
All right, the next one, usually the best award you save for last, but I'm just going to go ahead for the sake of going in order and talk about what is the most coveted going forward, for sure, the most coveted award here on what Rob is dubbing the Zoe Awards on the Rob Brown Show. It is biggest Rob Brown Show rub. All right, it exists. All right, you come on the Rob Brown Show, and you can exceed your expectations and go to heights that never before had you seen. You know, you didn't realize that the top of that mountain was actually in the clouds. You thought you saw the top of the mountain. You didn't until you came on the Rob Brown Show and got that rub.
The rub is real. To me, there are 2 candidates for the award. There's 2. Now, the interesting thing is both of them were already champs when they came on the show. However, both of them, after they got the Rob Brown Show rub, went on to do something historic with their championship. The only 2 guys, really the only 2 wrestlers who I think can be considered for this are either Gunther or Damian Priest. And I think it's got to be Gunther. Gunther did not just carry the Intercontinental belt, which he already had when he came in, but he came in as a champ. He left this show and he went on to become the longest reigning and arguably most dominant Intercontinental champion of all time. What Damian did with the belt was spectacular, and it was fun, and it was engaging and entertaining, and he switched from being one of the biggest heels in WWE to one of the most over baby faces. But Gunther etched his name in the history books of pro wrestling, and that momentum started after he was right here on the Rob Brown Show. The answer, Lonzo, and this is one where if you disagree, I will say you wrong, is Gunther.
Well, I don't disagree. I mean, because as you said, already a champion when he walked in this room. When he walked out,
He became the champion.
The champion, exactly. And he's only getting better. I mean, you would think, is that possible for him? Yeah, he is. He's only getting better. And he's another one of those guys where he could feud with anybody and come out on top. Gunther, definitely biggest Rob Brown Show rub. All right, here's one. Of course, we're going to disagree on. We already know who Rob's pick is going to be, and that's fine. My pick might be surprising. Best women's wrestler of 2024.
This one is actually tougher than you think it is for me because.
Should I go first? Because you went first last time.
Mine's a granted. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Mine, and I think this will shock Rob Brown. Mine is Toni Storm. And here's the reason. And I've already pointed out that storyline means a lot to me.
Sure.
And her storyline, especially her present one, would you think she couldn't top the one she did before? Her present one is excellent because she's forgotten, according to a possible amnesia, everything that she did for this entire year. But Timeless Toni Storm was it for a long time. And you thought, now she's going to fade. Nope. She found another way to go. Much like some other people like Jericho for a while, able to reinvent themselves. She's reinvented herself in the same year. And I really enjoy it. And her wrestling is good too. And I'm going with Toni Storm.
Chin up, chest out. Watch out for the shoe. I have no issue with you picking Toni Storm. And I was back and forth between a couple. Rhea Ripley is obviously my winner. Mommy is dominating everything. The same reason that Gunther got the Rob Brown Show Rub Award, because he just became the guy. Rhea is her right now. You don't have to like it, but she is the biggest wrestler on planet Earth.
Year, though.
She was.
Yeah.
And when she came back, she has been the most visible wrestler, I would argue, maybe of any wrestler at all, men's or women's. Now, you can say it's for whatever reason you want, but here's the thing. Rhea's not out there spreading the word on OnlyFans. Not that I'm judging women's wrestlers who do. I don't care. It's your life. Live it how you want to live it. She's just being mommy, and it works. I think Toni Storm deserves a nod. Honestly, I think Ruka deserves a nod for what she's doing in NXT right now. I think there's a bunch of women that could go on this list, but the answer is mommy.
All right. Moving along. The next category is best men's wrestler. And we're probably going to agree on this. Who do you think is the best men's wrestler of 2024?
It's Will Ospreay.
Without a doubt.
It's Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
It's not a...
He's the best wrestler on the planet right now.
Yeah, he's the best wrestler. And I'm talking about in every aspect of wrestling. He's a fantastic promo. He's a great storyteller. And he can bleeping go. In fact, when I was looking at potential match of the year candidates, Ospreay was in like 4 of them. Darby Allin last night, Brian Danielson, the match that they did earlier in the year. I think he had one with Okada earlier that was an absolute slap fest. Ospreay was in like 3 or 4 matches that could have been considered match of the year. Nobody else was. Will Ospreay's the best wrestler on the planet.
All right, we got 3 more categories. The next one, all 3 probably will be shockers coming from me. Best tag team. There are a lot of tag teams out there, and no one's going to agree with me on this. My best tag team of 2024, watch the shocked look on Rob's face.
Can I guess? And if I'm right?
Yeah, you can guess.
Fraxium.
Nope.
Okay.
Hank and Tank. Listen, the story behind Hank being a security guard and then suddenly getting a chance to be a wrestler and all that stuff, the energy they bring, the excitement, this is what I felt like when I was a kid watching wrestling. I just loved them. And of course, you're very disappointed in my pick.
No, I'm not. I don't agree with it.
Fine. It's not. You get to pick yours. I'm picking mine, and mine is Hank and Tank.
Again, like it's one of those that I
love Hank and Tank.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. I'm just gonna. Now I will say this. Do we agree that 2024 was not a particularly great year for tag team wrestling?
Right. It's hard to pick a tag team.
Yeah, I've been kicking back and forth around about where to go. And it ended up in a spot where I think I've kind of had to go a little bit off the reservation with my pick. But I'm going to give you a couple of guys that I think were a little bit of everything that I'm looking for. 8 Town Down. Give me Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. I think they were funny. They had these comedy moments like when both of them got punched in the face at the same time by Kevin Owens, which was this hilarious moment. But they also carried the belts for a long time and carried them exceptionally well, in my opinion. They put on slapper matches, and both of these guys are damn good wrestlers that work their chemistry of still doing what they do, doing it together. I'm going to go Waller in Theory.
Okay.
That's my wild card pick.
Also a big, I mean, again, really hard to pick the tag team.
I'd go Truth and Miz, but I can't give Miz anything. Jerk.
All right. So 2 more. All right. The best faction. And I'm going to go first here and surprise everybody again. But remember my criteria, you got to be a good wrestler. I don't think you make it to these levels without being a pretty good wrestler unless you're really, really good on the mic and people will excuse your lack of wrestling. My best faction is Final Judgment.
Ooh.
See, again, I love what Karrion Kross is doing. I love technically kind of a change of character. I love the new hairstyle. I just love what they're doing. I love what they're doing to Miz. I think they're very underneath. It could be, I mean, it'd be easy to go with the White Six because that was spectacular. But underneath everything the Judgment Day is doing, not only on the air, but on social media, I really like Final Judgment. I know I said Judgment Day. I was stupid. But it's Final Judgment.
I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to give a little love to A.E.Dub. Best friends.
The land.
I know they broke up.
Dude.
I know they broke up. But before they broke up, which was in 2024, which means they were a faction in 2024. It is not best active faction. It's best
or
of
a
2024.
facsimile of.
I am going best friends. And I'm going best friends, and here is why. When Judgment Day began the breakup, and they are still going through it now, we were all like, oh, okay, storyline. When best friends broke up, when we had maybe the probably second biggest stab in the back of the year, the only thing that has hurt us more this year than that was New Day turning their back on Big E. But here's the thing. Big E hasn't been with the New Day for a year. I don't consider them a faction. They're a tag team that had another party involved. When the best friends broke up, I was devastated. I'm going with the best friends.
Yeah, I didn't bring up the Big E thing because I don't believe New Day deserves to be talked about right now.
Well, again, like I'm not counting them as a faction because they don't deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. And finally, the best finishing move of 2024. I'm going to go first in the interest of time.
Wait, I'm going to write it down, and if I get it right.
Oh, you know that what I'm going to go for because we've discussed it many times.
There's two.
All right, but we are running out of time. So
go ahead.
I mean,
hang on. Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
All right. Sol Ruka's Soul Snatcher.
There it is, right there.
It's an amazing finisher. I guess maybe she's not polished enough to be on the main roster yet, but I think if a finisher can move you up, that one should.
That's the one. I agree. I agree. It's not my pick though. Can I tell you which one has grown on me in the past couple of weeks? And the more I see it, the more I freaking love it.
As long as it's not Bailey to Bailey or Belly to Bailey. I can't remember which one that is. Love Bailey though, friend of the show.
Braun Breaker's Super Spear. It's my favorite. It has replaced every other spear in the arsenal.
But
and
the
here's why.
Uniqueness of Sol Ruka's.
I agree.
Soul's
but
Snatcher.
it is not just
also degree of difficulty, man.
I again agree with all these things. Here's why I like Braun Breakers. When that guy gets going, and I know they're hitting it with 23 miles an hour, and they have to say it every time, which is fine because that's true. Have you seen that man hit the ropes? The ring moves. The whole ass ring slides in the direction that he hits the ropes, and everyone is able to sell that as if they have been quite literally Thanos in half. I don't know why. The way he hits it looks beautiful. The setup is great, and it is the most, and I mean this, I'm putting it over Goldberg, I'm putting it over Rhino, I'm putting it over Edge. It is the single best looking spear in the history of professional wrestling. I love it.
See,
genuinely love it.
I think his no hand in Frankensteiner is better.
Also dope. Jumping up there and hitting that salute is so good. All right, there you have it. There's your Zoes. If you have any you'd like to debate or add to the mix, send them to me, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. We got a handful of texts that have come in over the past few minutes. We will get to those when we come back. 'It's Rob, it's Lonzo, it's you, it's the Rob Brown Show, it's the Fan Upstate. Canadian destroyer. You know what? I used to be in that camp, Keegan, but I have left that camp. Like, yes, it's a title, and it's also a belt. It literally is a belt.
It's because it's been tied to Vince McMahon, and so that sullies it to a degree to where, like,
that was what VKM used to say.
yeah. So now it's like, if I say that, I'm agreeing with
Yeah.
Vince McMahon. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. But it's one of those things that it's like, I think you can call it that and still have respect for it. Also, bring back the big gold eagle. That thing looks so good Saturday night.
Well,
It looks so
you
good.
know who has that now?
Oh, for sure.
Kevin Owens says he's going to defend it. I also must go that way. We'll be right back. So when I can't pronounce something, I try to think about what the kinfolk back in the holler, how they would say it.
Kinfolk.
Yeah, back in the holler.
Did
And,
they say kinfolk?
of course. No, I'm talking about the kinfolk in Kentucky.
Oh, in Kentucky.
Yeah. I was a member of the first generation in Ohio. Everybody was from Kentucky, and they all moved down to Ohio for jobs. And I believe it would be modus operandi. That's what I'm going to go with.
The best finisher is Joe Hendry's entrance. It's over at that point.
I mean, your kinfolk's from New Orleans, but you grew up. You grew up in.
We say family.
There we go. Oh, I meant to get rid of that. Well, it's too late. I was just doing that because I had to go. Beep. Tinkle.
And also, kinfolk in Louisiana, we say mom and him.
Mom and them?
How's your mom and him?
Sounds like something that
How's your
Marky
mom and
Mark
him?
would say.
Kane in Liberty, South Carolina.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Lonzo. Glad to send this message to the Hot Rod Brown show. Bummed out about the Lions' loss to the Bills the other day. I loved MCDC's speech yesterday, but I'm not sure if it's, going to be enough to rally the ones that are left. Is heart going to play more of a factor than skill at this point in time? I hope so. But anyway, I hope you get everything settled with your voice and get that fixed. And hope you guys have a great day, great rest of the week.
Appreciate you, Kane. Thank you very much. Voice, it's like a muscle, man. You got to work it out a little bit. We've worked it out. We're good. Real quick before we take it to a break, because we addressed that a little earlier in the show, you can find it on the podcast forum at thefanupstate.com. Here is Jay Bird and Duncan.
Woo! Good morning. Good morning. Just wanted to say, with the first week of the college football playoffs upon us, I want to show my in-state support to the South Carolina Gamecocks. Good luck with your playoff game. I just remembered you didn't make the playoffs. Anywho, better luck next year.
That laugh is maniacal. Maniacal.
A little weird right after South Carolina beat Clemson, though.
Maniacal.
I'm just saying.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, time to tell Rob what is Xing in the world, and he's going to tell us why the world is Xing about it. The first thing, I'm going to change one of the words because I don't like the word. It's perfectly acceptable to say on the air. No, I'm just not going to say the word, but I'm going to change it to something that will let you know what the word is. Unicorn flatulence dust.
Fart? Unicorn fart?
Yes.
Here's the sad part. I know exactly why it's trending. It is because Call of Duty has decided that it is going to eat in the future. And they've decided, let's do what Fortnite did, but let's do it worse. And one of the things they've added to it is they have finishing moves. It used to be like your finishing move, if you got to drop one on a dude, was you would roll up and you would tap him on the shoulder. And when he turned around, you put a pistol to the forehead and finish him off or whatever. Like a fatality in Mortal Kombat used to be. Now
so violent.
They have started to add dumb ones. Like, for instance, one of the characters that you play, if you hit one of those fatalities, calls forth a unicorn from another dimension who then farts on the other player and kills him. It's real dumb, and I'm done with Call of Duty.
Okay.
I'm over it. I'm out.
All right, the next thing that's Xing is Mariah Carey.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Mariah Carey season. If you didn't believe that the Queen of Christmas made her emergence as she did about mid-November, it is certainly time now. And I'm assuming that this is trending. I don't know this to be a fact because once again, All I Want for Christmas Is You is the #1 song in America, as it should be.
So lame. There is no Queen of Christmas, but that's not why she is trending. She is trending because she is now in Fortnite.
At least
doing
Fortnite,
a Christmas dance.
At least Fortnite acknowledges that it is
dressed
a silly
and looking
game.
like she did back when she was like 20 something.
First off, if you ain't seen Mariah Carey, she's still got it.
Oh no, I completely agree. There's some people, she's fat. It's like, shut up, man.
Those
It's
people
stupid.
are both dumb and wrong. Mariah Carey still got it. But the thing I appreciate, Fortnite acknowledges it's a silly game and plays into it. Call of Duty is still trying to convince you, like, yeah, we're a for real serious game. And also, if you sneak up on a guy, you can have a unicorn fart on him. All right, whatever.
All right, the next thing is trending, or Xing rather, is Lex Luthor.
I got nothing.
Superman trailer just dropped.
That's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, about a half hour ago.
So once again,
Dude.
Lonzo and I will head to the Fortress of Nerditude immediately following the show and dive in.
I have some problems with it already.
Really?
Yeah.
Without even listening to it?
It's a hair problem. That's it. Just a hair problem. I know I haven't listened. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Mario's ruined everything.
Yeah. And finally, the last thing that's Xing, even though I said I wasn't going to fight today, and I didn't. Really, I didn't. The last thing that's Xing is Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers is Xing because there is a documentary that followed around Aaron Rodgers this offseason. I don't know if this is why, but I'm guessing. And a clip dropped of Aaron Rodgers while he was high, tripping his off on ayahuasca or whatever the hell it's called. And he's like, I can't believe this is my life, man. This is awesome. This is so it's actually hilarious. It's actually really funny.
That's not why. There's a legitimate beef between him and someone at ESPN. And it's getting heated and it's getting a little ridiculous. And I'm secretly hoping it leads to WrestleMania. But that's just me.
Is it with McAfee?
No, it's with
Okay.
Ryan, with Ryan
Rosilio?
No. Man, I don't even have his name right. He was on with Cam Newton and
All right. Either way,
here's a proof that the beef is ridiculous because you know who Aaron Rodgers is, but I can't remember who he's fighting with.
I need to know. I mean, I don't care. I'm probably going to be team whoever he's fighting with.
It's Ryan Clark.
Ryan Clark.
Yeah.
I'm definitely team Ryan Clark.
Yeah.
I'm definitely team Ryan Clark.
Without even knowing what he says.
Yes.
That's cultic.
Yes, because whatever he said. No. Because I
very
know everything that Aaron Rodgers does say, and 90% of what comes out of his mouth is dumb and or
There
wrong.
is no one that I believe what they say without hearing what they say.
No.
No one.
Wait. Get it right. Get it right.
I'm not
Get it right.
backing them.
Get it right.
I'm not their guy. I want to hear
Get
the
it
whole
right.
detail.
What I said was it doesn't matter what he said if he's against Aaron Rodgers. Because if Aaron Rodgers had something to say, there's a 90% chance I think what he said was wrong about life or football. So, naturally, I'm likely aligned with Ryan
You got
Clark.
him riled up, which is hilarious.
You knew what you were doing.
No, I was talking about Aaron Rodgers getting other people riled up, trolling, and everyone falling for it.
Listen, if the only thing,
including you,
if your entire personality is I'm a troll, I got nothing for you. Your personality is not exclusively troll.
Well, it's probably like 75%.
And that's not exclusive, is it? All right, that's it for us. Thanks for being here. Y'all come back tomorrow. It is the Friday edition, and we will do it.
We're gonna Friday.
We're gonna,
Friday. That's what we're gonna do.
We're gonna Friday.
We're gonna get down on Friday.
Probably. Have a great rest of your day. See you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
You're just a loser or a jackass. You can be A or B.
Point out that I was stretching so you could find a clip that you look like you were
I
struggling
really was.
to
I was
find.
dying over here because I picked one and I moved it over, except for instead of moving it, it just highlighted everything on the page and didn't move it.
It's called teamwork, people.
It's appreciated and noticed. Oh man. All right. Well, I gotta go find grunge clothes. I think I'm gonna go grunge.
I knew that's what you're gonna do because putting makeup on is not.
It's a process, dude.
Yeah. And if you don't have like any silver makeup or anything, you would have had to order it.
Yeah, I don't. That's kind of my problem. So I think I'm going ripped up black jeans. I think I'm going a Ramon shirt with flannel around the hips. I think I'm just gonna not wash the hair.
I thought you were gonna go with the wig. You can't find it, can you?
No, I can. It's in my Halloween bucket. I just don't know that I can commit to wearing that wig around the arena, running around for 4 hours.
Well, you can also wear the hat backwards when you're doing that.
That's not really grunge.
Yeah,
though.
it was. Eddie Vedder used to have the hair up underneath his hat. And then at some point he would pull it and pull the hat off and all the hair would come out. I thought it was amazing. I don't know how he fit all the hair up in the hat and the hat not look poofy. But that's, I noticed these things as a hair person.
Oh, man. Which seat should I take? Also, that lyric coming out of Joe Hendry's face is really funny, James. That made my whole morning. All right, that's it for us. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here. You're all amazing people. Tell your friends about us. We're trying to get rich and famous. When is the next wrestling night for the Swamp Rabbits? Unfortunately, wrestling night did not make the theme night schedule this year. I'm very disappointed and angry about that. I am starting a campaign to bring it back next year. However, January 11th, the Swamp Rabbits are having a post-game country music concert with Chris Jansen of Buy Me a Boat fame. After the hockey game is over, they're actually going to wheel a big stage out onto the ice and do a live country concert after the game, which I think is kind of great. So, okay, thanks for being here. You're all spectacular. Goodbye.